morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you. On a beautiful Sunday morning, I hope all of you are fresh, relaxed, and ready to embark on a learning and knowledge sharing session. I am Imani De Silva, your MC today. To deliver the welcome address, we have an individual who is a banker by profession and a senior member of HNB Toastmasters Club. He is the current DCP chair for District 82. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Moditha Attanagoda. Over to you, DTM Moditha Attanagoda.
Thank you, MC Imali, for that wonderful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the How to Conduct New Member Orientation and Contest Management session organized by the TLI calendar. And I'd like to welcome each and everyone, starting from our District Director, might join from states, Distinguished Toastmaster Mahinda Karunakaran, and our Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Ganga Fernando, and our Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Niroshan Nadraja, and all present and past district officials to this wonderful session on this Sunday. Because new members are the live wire in Toastmasters, so we need to nurture the new members to achieve their dreams. We need to encourage them, their willingness to, eager to learn and grow, to improve their communication, public speaking, and leadership skills. For that, we are going to conduct how to conduct new member orientation, especially for the area and division council people, so that they can organize it, present it for their clubs. It's kind of a train the trainer session. And the second part consists of contest management for those, especially for those doing the contest chair and contest masters, so they can conduct their contest effectively. I request all the participants to use the Q&A session to clarify your doubts, iron out your doubts with our eminent panel, because afterwards the new members will be given the opportunity to be groomed, and the contest management people to conduct an efficient contest. So be ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Over to you, MC.
Thank you so much, DT Moditha Attanagoda, for that inspirational welcome address made by you. I'm sure after listening to your speech, all the participants are motivated and eagerly waiting to gather knowledge on new member orientation, because new members are the live wire of any Toastmasters club. We are going to listen to a passionate Toastmaster who has been in the Toastmasters fraternity for the last 18 years. He embarked in his Toastmasters journey on 12th June 2006 as a charter member of BCIS Toastmasters Club. In 2006-2007, he became the charter president of BCIS Toastmasters Club and achieved President Distinguished Club status. In 2007-2008, he became area governor of Division A, Area 2 of District 82, and became a President Distinguished Area Governor. At that time, Now we call area director, but at that time, area directors were called area governor. In 2009, 2010, he was appointed as the division governor of Division H in District 82 and achieved President Distinguished Division Governor with all 6 areas becoming President Distinguished, and he chartered 11 new clubs during his tenure. In 2015-2016, he was appointed as the Program Quality Director of District 82, that was with Tamil Nadu, India, and Sri Lanka at that time. In 2016-2017, he was elected as the District Director of District 82 and led 238 clubs in Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka. In 2017-2018, he was the immediate past District Director of District 82, and in 2020-2021, he was honored when he was selected as the Region 13 Advisor for Term 1, supporting 5 districts, including India and Sri Lanka. In the same tenure for 21-22, Term 2, he was the Regional 13 Advisor, supporting 4 districts in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. So he has a vast knowledge and experience with him. Please welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Sudash Liyanage. Over to you, DTM Sudash Liyanage.
Thank you very much, Himali, for that lengthy introduction. And thank you for introducing me in that fashion, but something different. Thank you so much. Can I share my screen now at this point of time?
Yes, sir, you can share.
There you are. You'll see. Hopefully.
You can see the screen, sir.
Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I can see 125 participants, and thank you very much for being here.
Sudash, we can't hear you.
Why is that?
We can
But
hear.
Yeah.
we can hear.
Yeah.
Can everyone confirm whether you can hear me or not?
We can hear.
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
can
Now we
hear.
can
Can hear.
We can hear you.
Right, thank you so much. Then let me go ahead because the time is important. Okay, my dear friends, today you are joining a very important program. Why do I say so? Is to, as Modita mentioned, the live wire of Toastmasters or any organization for that matter is the members. So the members we have here, are we on full screen? Okay. Can you see my screen?
It can
Hello?
be seen now.
Yes.
It can
Clear.
be seen now.
We can.
We
And
can
full
hear you.
screen as well.
That's right. So that's what I wanted to. Okay. Give me a sec. There's a small technical hitch now. Right. Okay. So being
Now it's not on presentation mode, not full screen.
that is what when I put it on presentation, I have a problem.
Now it's clear, Sudarshan.
Now it's clear, right? Okay. Right. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Why conduct an orientation? Okay, before I come to that, I like to hear or put it into the chat that how many of our club officers who are joining here? Any position that just put it into chat to see how you all are active here. Can everyone operate chat option? So, Master?
Yes, sir. Everyone can access the chat.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thank you. So I can see many coming right now. Okay. Right, great. Thank you. I think the majority of definitely the club officers, and thank you you all joining and having the interest on your members. This is exactly one testimony that you are giving to the district, that you all are willing to serve your members and try to bring the new member into a folder which they are comfortable with. So let me just get going with this and why conduct an orientation. I just wanted to go and ask these questions, but I found that it will be a time-taking thing. So I will go through this. First, everyone who is joining newly, I think if you can remember your first day in life with the Toastmasters, you had some problems and need a certain amount of answers in terms of maybe public speaking or leadership. Because if that was your key focus when you are joining, because some may join for the networking, some may join for have a good a glass of drink, maybe thinking and not knowing what the Toastmasters at that time. So whatever it is, so what I trying to say is that there have been some problems when someone joining a Toastmasters club. So how to convince them that the Toastmasters can help is another reason for us to be get into the new member orientation. Because we'll have to give them the best of the ingredients that as to Toastmasters can help them solve those problems and make them many more people, the many more things that they can achieve from the Toastmasters. So, and then for them to set, for you to set them to get the benefits of Toastmasters membership. So you'll have to set the platform, the foundation for that. So that's another reason as to why we conduct orientation. And moreover, selfish reason for a club exco may be to make that person become an integral partner of your club membership. So that is very important for a club to get going. And also, it is important to help them to solve two types of anxieties. Now, what are these two types of anxieties? First, I know very well, we all know the anxiety of coming in front of an audience. Maybe he or she has not done it forever. That will be in larger portion. That anxiety will be there because they will be finding it difficult to come in front of a larger audience and deliver a presentation. And also the second anxiety will be definitely to make accustomed to the club environment and the new people that you are meeting, and how and what the discipline, decorum that is in place, all those will come into play in their mind. So remember, a new member orientation will solve these problems. And to reassure that he or she has made the right decision in joining the Toastmasters. How can we do this? This is just a statement. But for that, you have to come up with a lot of stories. Story of how you joined and how you have grown up in communication or leadership, and how have you been becoming a better leader, and what some examples, some nice stories, but of course positive stories. Remember that, and make sure that that person has made the right choice, and that's the right decision that they made. And this is the only organization that you give this experiential learning platform. So give all what you can, especially the good things and that you have achieved so far, so that he or she will be eager to achieve, at least to get reach whatever they wanted to. And the other thing is very important here, giving the specific information about the entire Toastmasters program, because we have a huge program here. But one thing you have got to be sure that when you are delivering this, not to overboard or not to overwhelm them, but to make sure that the right things are given to them, so that they will know exactly what they are trying to get, and what are the areas that that particular individual wanted to carve for himself or herself, and that is what we should look at, right? So that's the basic idea of having an new member orientation program within the club. And I always say that this is maybe my personal view. I always wanting the club member, senior member, to do that new member orientation, or the VP education for that matter. Yet, if some of the clubs are new and if the less in the numbers, and I know, therefore, you need the support of area, division, and district. So that's the key. Right. The benefits for the new member, you have to tell, not to tell them, let them experience, and let them you have to make sure that this new member will feel less anxious and more confident. I told you what are the areas that they immediately go into these anxieties. So we try to solve those problems and give them some confidence. And that is what we are doing by the applause. So at least applause and introducing to the members all around, and have some person with that new member, and make sure this is the first day. Maybe new member orientation you will be having on a different date, but yet this is what you've got to be looking at, and making sure at the club level, as before even getting to the orientation, there is a responsibility on us, definitely, to make sure that that person get away from those two important anxieties I mentioned. So to do that, Sergeant at Arms, entire exco should get together and make it a point that when a new member comes, that you will give extra attention to the person. And this has been happening, but I don't know how effective currently. I hope that you all are in your clubs will make it a point that these traditions or standard basics guidelines to be followed. Welcome that person, and maybe arranging someone to be with that person right throughout the meeting, informing and introducing to all the members, the president and the rest of the members, and make it a point that giving certain small explanation as to what's going to happen and what he can do, and all those reasons, and to welcome them heartily. And all these things are first impressions that we talk on the moments of truth. So just follow that and make it a point that that person become confident, and try to give them for a table topic session, and appreciate them, and don't highlight much of the areas to be improved, that you have to be even tactful as well. Right. So going further, to meet their self-development needs. Yes. So that you will have a member survey, and after that you will find what the self-development need that this person is joining for, and that you got to identify, because otherwise no sooner that that person feels that my need is not being satisfied or not being looked at by the exco especially, and then that person might not be renewing in next time. So remember, this person has now already joined, right? So now all other activities have been done, and yeah, with you. Now it's protecting actually new member orientation is partly for the club, is an important element because you are having a retention rate going to be high if you can do this at the orientation. And the club's purpose and structure. So that's another thing that the new member will get to know what is the purpose of this whole program as well as at the club and what you can do and the purpose, the structure, the exco and different members and different activities, all that the member will get to know well, right? And its members, yes, then they develop sense of pride and belonging. Now, this is another important aspect for any club. Since I have more of Club Exco here, you all have unique identity for our own clubs. And that unique identity should be reflective and it has to be transparent to even any new member who comes in. And for that, that positive vibe that you need to create within those club environment. And you should diligently follow this and make sure that any okay. So you have to really make sure that the new member takes the pride out of joining this club. And that is the basically the exco, but not only exco, the members all together should give this wow feeling for that member to feel that okay, I joined a club that is was giving my sense of some sense of pride for me. That is what you should looking at. And that's again come to the moments of truth. And I don't want to deal more on that, but that is something that you should really practice within your clubs. And this is once again what I've said, the care about them and supportive. Now, sometimes this care is not being there because uh, care is very difficult to find because you only deal with maybe the VP membership, maybe the education or the member who introduced the person. It's not. It has to be from my 360-degree care. Everyone, whoever who is trying to make a speech, try and talk to them. I know some clubs, when some new member to join and deliver a speech, that there's a mentor talking to that person, the VP head talk to that person, the evaluator talk to that person, and even the president needs to talk to that person before the speech being delivered. It's just to say hi, good, and I hope that you are ready. And that, so this kind of say, if four people, the four members of the club is talking to them and giving that support and a care and making that person at ease, that will goes a long way. So that is the new member. Then I think is that kind of a setup will involve the club or the member to get really involved with the club's goal, and they will also understand what is this goal that the club is looking at and where they are going to head. And that understanding will help the club. I will tell you in the next slide. Then clear leadership path on offer. That is another important area, but mostly in whole world that I know, and I got to know after being the ID candidate by talking to 112 district personally. What I have gathered there is very important here. Most of the members doesn't know exactly what the clear leadership path is and what that you really can gain out of practicing a club role, area, division, district, region, or whatever the role that you are going to play as a leader. Very few have understood what is in it for you or in it for me at that level. So this understanding is the key to have the clear leadership going. So you have to show the path as well as not to showing the path. You have to make that offer so valuable for them by giving as to what they could gather by practicing that leadership role. And then they will have their own path ready in their minds when they join the program. Some will go on the speaking, the communication to be a world champion. Some will go to become international president. Who knows? That is where it's at. So let's move on as to see what the benefits of an orientation gets to a club. Now here there's a small change here. It's not only a benefits I'm talking, and some of the important element that I wanted to highlight. This is it. So have you ever heard or thought of this as an act of engaging a social contract? Right? This is it. Because when a new member joins a club, you are getting into a contract. It's like a business contract, maybe. You have an offer and offering. And definitely here, you get on to a social contract that we, even in our oath, we say, and we are there to help the person, and also the person in return wanted to help the club. So this social contract is very important for a club. And for that, you have to, at the orientation level, we have to make sure that this social contract being uh, informed, and so that the club will get benefited more than the member in this aspect. Because as the club, you are tend to recognize what the member wants and get that atmosphere. That is the club mission. The club mission, if you need to practice giving that environment for them and empowering them to do what they really wanting to do and get them into self-satisfaction mode. So this is this club mission that you know to be really put into practice. It's not merely a statement, or some will read the statement at the club meeting. But reading is good, but the making it effective, especially when it comes to new members, it's very important. And then the second part from the new members side, he or she has to fulfill at least the membership promise. Attend the club meetings almost every day, and performing roles then you asked to do so, and all those things, the 10 promises that we are giving, at least if they are doing that, and that is the contract that he or she can give it to the club. So if this both happens, then you will be really into a real social contract that will create that loyal and a valuable member in your club. So that is why what I wanted to really highlight. It's two-way process and two-way contract that we really need to harness the maximum out of it. So this is important, as I mentioned, to plan and get the needs of and deliver to them, because you need to have a plan for every member. Now, club, since the expo is here, this is not the new member orientation. This little thing that I'm going to tell you is to make sure that you have a plan for each and every member of your club, especially VP, president, and the VP membership together. You can have this plan. This is a new thing that I'm going to ask you to do. Have a plan for every member. Discuss with them a small 5-10 minutes discussion, and then make a plan for that member for that year. Not only getting into a level 2, 3, 4, or whatever in the parts. No, not only that. What's the future ambitions? Are we supporting that person for that? And make sure that every member has a little plan for himself, or he or she can develop, and then discuss with you and facilitate that requirement. If you can do that, those members will retain with you, because this new member orientation for me is, if you take the side of the club as Club Exco, it is retention method, one of the avenues for you to retain the member. So as you can get the leaders who can really serve the club in time to come. And we know, and I have to thank most of the members who have joined here, even in the exco. I heard that most of them are even not even within 1 year or 1.5 years of Toastmasters journey, have accepted the leadership positions in your clubs as a club exos. Kudos to them and thank you very much for accepting the leadership role. Maybe you've been pushed at one time by someone else or a senior member, but don't worry, even pushed you voluntarily accepted it. The main thing is that you have got to the leadership that will really cherish your life. That you can take it from me because I, being the charter president up to the region advisor level, I exactly went through as to what we can really gain from the Toastmasters leadership. It will take another 2, 3, or 5 hour session to tell you as to what you can get in different levels of leadership as for person to be developed. So get this loyal and the member who can really serve the club by having this orientation, and that's another benefit for the club. So elsewhere, and this is another very important area, the living in with the core values. So this is the hardest task. If the club is talking about a new member orientation, so just can't say these are our values. Yeah, you have to introduce those values, but you have to show that you are living in those values and you are really putting that into practice in the club. And if you can do that, you can make another member who really live with it and getting that values into their system so that everyone joining even after that will make that impact or effect of following the real values. I have seen this is, I can openly say that we only talk about values, but we don't practice in many occasions. And there are people who are doing it like a prayer or like whatever that they are believing in it. But what I really wanting to know that please, for God's sake, the core values is not a measure that you are trying to measure the other. It is a measure to measure yourself. See whether you are practicing it. If you are practicing it, it will transfer to the other members and make it a point that they will also will follow that same core values. So this is another important element that you are fixing right at the beginning through the orientation. This social contract will make finally a firm, satisfying, and a mutually beneficial program. So this is what I'll have to tell you as to what this can bring forward for a club, and that will make sure that member will live with us for a long. Unfortunately, the last year, 2023, ended June 30th, world over, we have closed 1,038 clubs world over. And why is that? Because those clubs were not being able to retain the members. Our membership retention right across the world is almost about 55 to 56%. But in Sri Lanka, I have seen 65 plus. So that's a good sign. But we have to do much better in member retention. I know some of the statistics you will be knowing, and sometimes the CGD and those District 3 can highlight on those. But remember, is retaining the member is the key for a club. Because where else the member joins? Member joins a club. And member who join the club, you have to retain even at the club. So the club is the center point for you to enhance your club membership as well as to retain your club membership. So both happens at the club. This is the base. This is the laboratory, as Mr. Balraj used to say. And this place we need to protect. And this place we need to put our values in place. And this is the place we have to improve our quality. And for all that to happen, the member and the exco should know what exactly that you are supposed to deliver. So looking at that, let's go to a member life cycle. Now I'm going to make some awareness of what you will be looking at as a member life cycle in stages. For a new member, we have done all our parts, made the awareness. Luckily, Sri Lanka, most of the corporate today knows about Toastmasters. Most of the members are getting to know about Toastmasters, but we can do whole gamut of things to increase this awareness. That's up to the district to look at it and how they are going to do it. Yet I have not seen many activities to improve the top of the mind recall for our country, at least, of Toastmasters for the general public. Yes, corporates, those days when we, 15, 16 years back, when we wanted to open a club, when you go to even a corporate entity, when he said about the Toastmasters, they used to have 3 lines on their forehead and to see what's Toastmasters. People never knew. But now, at least the corporate world knows to some extent. And then community needs to know more, yet they're better than those days. So having done all those exercises, thanks to all the past leaders, that we are at a particular state that at least people do recognize the brand. The values of brands for us to need to protect by us and be sure that you really protect it. But having done those awarenesses, everything that you will recruit the person. Now, this is the point that the prospective member joins the club. And this is not yet the onboarding. Just imagine a situation you walked onto a club on the first day. Just visualize. Just think what has happened. And can you remember that day? If you remember that day, that's a great thing. At least you know that. And there can be 1 or 2 salient incidents that you will never forget. And those are the points, maybe, that you are in the club so many years by now, at least maybe 1 year or 2 years. So remember these things. And that is the same cycle. If you happen to encompass a bad experience, don't basically be living with it, but try not that to happen to your new member. So that is the key. Because sometimes there can be situations that we go through some bad experiences. That depends on the people on that day, maybe. So just remember that you don't repeat that if that was a negative experience. The positive experiences, please reinvent or redo it at the time. And that's the recruitment. But all what I have said so far is coming on board. So onboarding process of a new member is the member orientation program. Now think how many of us are going into such detail and giving this member orientation for our members. I'm sure if I ask you to work on chat and to say honestly, keeping our one of the values is integrity or the honesty, I know for sure that many of the clubs cannot say that you have given that member orientation to all the members. If someone say, yes, I did it, put it in the chat, say that my club, I did it. So we will really recognize you. And you can challenge me, Sudash, you know what, you are wrong, and we have been doing it. So great, I would love to hear that. So having said that, this new member life cycle is a key. Let's move on with the rest of the orientation process which you have come to learn. And this is what you have to go and do it at the next level of your club area or division or whatever the point. So first, you should collect new member profile. Now this number denotes that you can find that in your Toastmasters website and follow this format. And I can show you at the end. I don't want to do shuffle between this and that and trying to share. Definitely at the end, I will try to share those things separately. But this is key. Have any one of you made use of this particular member profiling? If say, you can say yes on the chat. right? So this is, thank you, Panadura Lyceum Dialogue, for doing your member orientation. Then and there can be Kadavata, Anuradhapura, fantastic. So this is now I can see these clubs are still strong clubs in our fraternity. So that's could be one of the reasons for that. Kudos to all who are doing it and making it really valuable for the members. So thank you for coming up and just typing it. And Kalani Toastmasters, IESL, yes, BCIS, all those Toastmasters clubs are strong clubs that we are having here. It's really good. Others just start it, follow it up. There's no harm doing it at whatever the stage. Get to know and learn something out of this and practice it. Because don't wait for district or area or division to come and do the new member orientation. I always used to say this. New member orientation is for your club. You know, in our social setting, our cultural ways of thinking, especially we were not asked to divulge our problems to the outside the world and get some help. That is the culture that we are in, especially in Sri Lanka. I won't go HNB, Vivangada and many other clubs are giving. Thank you for that, and I will have this recording separately. And making point, this culture will not allow some outside, my personal belief is, some outside or area director or a division director to come and do the new member orientation. It's better you're a senior member or a charter member or somebody who can really trust and living with core values to conduct this particular new member orientation. If the VP education is not, maybe VP education may be new to the club, maybe sometimes not a very seasoned Toastmaster, so you can get the help of other members. And it's a key duty of a VP membership, and also make sure that when you are having the new member orientation, I forgot to tell you this, you can even get the mentor or the sponsor of that member or to that orientation so that they can gel together no sooner they get together and work. Right. So having said that, there are some tips that you really have to do when it comes to the to do a successful orientation interview. So I will go through this later in detail. So the next is to conducting the orientation interview, and there are 4 major steps. I will go through this in detail in time to come, and there are some resources that you can use. Okay, what are the tips? It's a two-way process, I said, and it is VPA plus the mentor or a sponsor can be together. And so first you have to create a favorable climate. Now, what's the favorable climate? Can someone put it on chat? What is the favorable climate to have a new member orientation? In your thinking, it may be right or wrong. It doesn't matter. I want your participation. We have 172 right on board. Thank you very much, everyone who joined. And let's have some sort of interaction, because I would have loved to have this in person, but no. Let's use the chat and see what the favorable climate that we are referring here to conduct a new member orientation. Yeah. Yes, what you are saying is right. Physical platform is better, definitely. It has to be one-on-one or one-to-one kind of a situation. Even of a revived club, some person has asked about it. Yes, what if it's a new or revived club? It doesn't matter whatever it is, new or revived. These practices has to be done. Even for the existing member, you can do a member profiling. So do that. That will help you to plan that person's future or the life with your club and try to help. Right. Say this is fine. comfortable environment, yes, the physical platform is the key. And what I want really is to tell you that it is not at the club meeting or just after or before the club meeting. It is not. Please have a different setting. Maybe spend not more than 15 to half an hour maximum. In the 15 minutes to 20 minutes is the accepted time frame. And be one-on-one, not on Zoom or whatever. And try to have that very maybe over a cup of tea. Likewise, the nice, comfortable setting where you will become more. What I should say. It's a very lively atmosphere that you're going to create and a friendly atmosphere. So that is what we really want. Thank you everyone who have been typing on the chat, and I will move on to the next one. So develop a personal rapport. Now this is another thing. This is something I could remember when I did the sales, what is it called? Sales team manual of the legacy old program. There was a manual for salespeople. And there is something called, what do you call, the first speech is getting, not, it is like getting into the discussion. So at this, developing a personal rapport is that you should really not talk about the Toastmasters, but talk about the whatever they are comfortable with, maybe their family background, what they have been doing, where he or she is working, and that other things, the little things that you need to know of getting to know that member better, and through that you will psych, you can basically make sure that you can make a perception, but it not be the right thing or wrong thing. So you have to be very careful. Don't get into different perceptions after doing this whole exercise. But what you have to do is just get to know the person. Just I can tell you in Sinhala sometimes when you go in those old days when somebody is going to have a bath somewhere to another place where in civil especially in the remote places like in Anuradhapur or somewhere. So when they go out to have a bath to some other well somewhere nearby or to a lake or somewhere, you go with your everything that you need to have a bath. But the people who are there on the way used to ask, Nanya, are you going to have a bath? Or whatever. But that is to that what that means, that is to come into a discussion. Now that's the way that they are trying to get to a discussion with the other person, or to make that person, okay, I know you, and I just to say hi. That's a way of saying hi sometimes. So here get little things, know about that other person, and try your level best to have that setting so that that person also will come to a conclusion. Okay, you share a lot of yours what you can share, then that person has to share, so same things may be back with you, and develop that personal rapport before you get into the core of it, because you wanted to know why this person has joined Toastmasters. That's the key in very short. So what is that person's genuine interest as to join in the club? And try to be very enthusiastic, because you got to listen. Now here is another listening exercise. Don't jump and tell exactly everything that you went through and with your lot of enthusiasm what you have, and try to over cast on their request of what they're trying to tell you. Just make sure that you are keeping that little uh, leeway for that person to come up with more, but be enthusiastic, be a good listener, have some questions, probing questions, and make that thing there. And also here you have a play. Yeah, you got to just give some experiences that you went through, and based on the situation, on the day of the joining, what you went through, or maybe afterward somebody helped you, and based on his interest, you can find some real life examples of yours. So those things will really boost up the enthusiasm, and enthusiasm is infectious, as I mentioned. So this is, I always say, this is a disease that we can really give it to the others, but are very positive for people, not it's a negative disease. So go with it. And also, the person who is conducting this new member orientation interview should be knowledgeable. It is not that everything that person should know everything. No, that if you don't know, say that I don't know. Let's together see on the website or ask somebody so that we can really get the maximum out of whatever the question raised. But don't try to see. Okay, this don't try to bluff or do say something that you are not know about it. But try to be knowledgeable in the areas. I will handle but those areas later. At least on those areas you should be able to talk. So then come to the orientation interview. It's like an interview. So to determine the members' needs, as I always repeating. So new member profiling is one thing that we have to do. In doing that, the key here is you have to interview and decide, okay, what this person is currently has with him, and also to make sure what's the gap. You have to identify the gap, the discrepancies that to achieve, say, world champions, that is the one that that person wants to, then what is the things that that person need to be doing. So you have to identify the performance discrepancies so that you can profile that member. To do that, you have to ask certain amount of questions. So remember this, this is there in the books, in the new member orientation manuals, everywhere you have these questions like the right? Or what is the accomplishment that member is want to have in this club, and whether it's public speaking or leadership skills requirement for your job or profession. And I have seen in most of the time the Indian membership is joining to get that edge over others through developing their English language skills by joining the Toastmasters, as well as making sure that they do proper presentation so that they get the elevations in their job, or maybe promotions for this professional. So have a look at it. If that is the case, so you have to target that person towards that and ask what is the current skill level as a speaker or leader. He or she may not be able to give exactly this is my experience. If person knows very well about it, we would have done something about it. But he or she knows very well that there are certain areas that they need to improve. So highlight it and try to get that out and make him comfortable, but make that person comfortable. So and the other fears. I know one of other forum that I have attended, there was a lady who were really wanting, considered the making a 8-minute presentation is a uh, what do you say? It's a nightmare for her. She said, I have never ever done a presentation in front of an audience in my life. How can I do this? And they full of anxiety and was really shivering at the time of coming in on to do the presentation. But that fear went off like this because she herself carried a very good presentation and did well, and everyone applauded and did fine. That anxiety went off. Now she has been doing presentations and educational sessions, all that. Not even a 1 year period. So similarly, that we have to find those exact fears. I can remember one of the speechcraft program we had very recently. Not, uh, I think, yeah, last week. One person came to saying it's traumatizing, right? So this is what somebody told. So this is the key. Uh, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I wanted to. Right. So then, why did you choose to join a Toastmaster club? Now, why I am asking all this club at the end, and why you are asked to do this questioning and asking this at the end? Because that is more than you are trying to get these needs. You are trying to find out and narrow the entire thing down to one element. So why? is a very important thing. You keep on asking why and why and why, then you will come as to exactly why that person is joining a Toastmasters club. So that we can definitely help that person to become a better individual and to accomplish the goals. And also, you can ask other things like, do you wish to improve your ability in presentation skills, your ability in making maybe speeches here and there, or doing a keynote, or whatever? What is the ability, or what's the type of thing that you want to look at? There can be a heap of questions that you can do, but remember, don't take more than 30 minutes in whole this exercise. Because otherwise that person will get bored, because he or she is getting some unknown things, a whole heap of things on one day, might not be digesting properly. So establish the social contract. The first thing is this: I have been doing talking about this discrepancy and making sure how, now here, don't think that I'm repeating it here, it's how your club's program and activities can align with the requirement of the performance discrepancy of the member. Now, this is what, now say somebody is very finding it really difficult to do a table topic. So you have to make sure that person being supported to do table topics, especially at a different, not at the club meeting, maybe the mentor can take it forward and make that person at ease in doing a table topics by giving some additional input. So this is something that we should go little detail up to a club members level and make it a point that we adjust their requirements. So into our club program. That's the thing. So secondly, eliminate the discrepancy. How as a club you should do. Like maybe sometimes, I can remember one of my member used to say that those days I thought that Sudash is a person that I can't reach out to. He used to say that after joining our club family outing, I am now free to talk by name. That is important. We are friends, helping friends. No need of sir or Mr. or DTM or whatever. We, as members, we have to be very informal and make it a point that we have a lovely environment, having with no, barriers in between us. So to do that, sometimes the club has to have this kind of a session, maybe a family outing. It makes some sense there. So I'm just giving an example for that. The third, what the club really expects from each member. Now, this is the promise, right? You have to make sure that as a new member who joins you, to make sure that they really digest this requirement. And that is there, then only you will have this fulfilling the social contract. Where the member, at least they can work on the member promise to the last letter, then the clubs will thrive without problem with these new members. Right. So the step 3, explain how Toastmasters work. Now I just shown here the PowerPoint presentation number 691, and you have that in Toastmasters website. I will try to show few slides of that if I have time. But remember, this is being prepared for you to even adjust to this environment to your club and present to this particular member. You can add little things here and there and to make sure that it is very, very conducive to your own environment. But it talks about what is Toastmasters International, when it has started in 1924 and where it was and how the membership and all that. And for that, you can have supportive things like the demographics of Toastmasters International as of now. That also there, you can download from your Toastmasters website. So be aware of where and what these things are having. So try to just browse the website and see more of things. So you have to talk about the Toastmasters International, maybe district, area, division, some hierarchy a little bit, but that they won't understand at this point of time. Don't try to just push them onto those, but talk about your club. what sort of a club you are and what are your values that you are really can highlight, and those things are important. Then the meeting assignments that are there, the club exco and who are there, these are important items because that is where he or she is going to live at the first phase. So meeting assignment that they will give you, and the club officers that are there, and the evaluation process, how it is being conducted, who will doing the evaluation or what, and the opportunities that member has to involve maybe in the subcommittees, join those things, and maybe organizing other things, the family trips or outings or team meetings or whatever. So what are the involvements that that person can go through? And the education program. Now we have two programs, basically not the two actually. First one is what I want to really highlight. I will come to that. But the education program for that matter, we have to really give the pathways right now. And even in that, you have to qualify it very clearly for them. So comes the membership life cycle, the second stage. Actually, this is exactly what all we have been trying to do, summarize into a nice framework uh, as a member life cycle. This is work done by the Toastmasters International when I was the region advisor for training of the district leaders. So full credit should go to the Toastmasters International, and I have the opportunity to use it with the permission of them. And so what you should be doing once they are in the club, all what I mentioned also will partly that educate them about the, maybe I told you that about the program, and get them to participate. That is as a exco or a role assignment or a meeting assignment, or maybe subcommittees, let them participate. And also it is very important, as we all know, we have to recognize and appreciate. Now, okay, earlier they came on board, you have educated them, get them to participate, and then appreciate what they have been doing, maybe at the installation or before or whatever, or what they have been doing. So, and that will help you to get that member in time to come as a valuable member who can add or increase value to the rest of the members. So that is what, and maybe they're doing an educational session in time to come. And that really helped two ways. One, to retain the entire membership, and also retain that member because you are giving a respect and a value of his presence in time to come in the club. So when you do that, definitely that person also will retain, and going through this entire membership will start to retain because they see how the transformation it went through with that particular individual. And finally, that person will become a brand ambassador because he or she will go and bring some more. Okay, yeah, I went through this, I achieved something. So I want my friends or my relatives or whoever needs to join, maybe colleagues at office. So this brand ambassador mode is something that we should create. That because when you can say that is the engagement of a new member or a member for that matter, that we should have this platform ready to go through the cycle the way way the arrows have been shown to you. It has to be a cycle like that. So that is the second segment of the member life cycle. I'll come to the third one a little later. So explain how the Toastmasters work. So the main thing in that is that you should know from there are four guiding principles in Toastmasters. And that is why we are living for almost 100 years. For the last next year, it will be 100. So knowing that it is very important to know experiential learning, I just mentioned. We learn from peers, we learn from observation, we learn from our seniors, we learn from our exco members, we learn from each and everyone in this particular organization, the fraternity. And this experiential learning you can't find anywhere else, I can tell you that. And this is the key differentiator or the USP, unique selling proposition that we have in Toastmasters. We have to protect it, and to protect that, we should behave. We should show our values, our systems, whatever we do things, do it to the best of your ability. And that will really transform other members also to learn more and do more and become better per individual. So experiential learning. Other important element is self-paced program. Now, there's no rush, not VP head or whoever cannot rush the members, but you can ask and plan them so that you are helping the member. Yes, you have to do it, but it's their that person's pace. Now, I know some of other members. I won't tell you the country, but they come to take a qualification and go away. They think the DTM is like a PhD or a MBA or a BSc based on the depending on the level that person has educated so far. They think this is an added qualification. When you have the DTM certificate, you are through, you are done, you have complete the course and they go away. And that is the problem we have. Now, it is not. The Toastmasters is not the qualification. Yes, it will add you a lot of things that you can't never ever believe. But this self-paced program is to go through and enjoy that program and learn whatever you can, especially through peer feedback. That's what I mentioned. It is the peer feedback. We learn from that. Our evaluation process is the heart of Toastmasters. If you don't have that evaluation, as I always say, there's no gurus, no teachers, no coaches. We have only the mentors. So we always value the mentoring process. The mentoring or the mentor is the key element in whole of our life as Toastmasters to get maximum or get ourselves better and elevated more and more. I can tell you 1001 examples. My mentors used to call me suddenly, Sudash, come home, have a cup of tea. And I know when he used to ask me to come home because I know there is a one good dose of an advice. I really love it. I have really make use of them. And that is how the mentor can help a mentee. But remember, you must get to the mentor as a mentee. And mentee has to make sure that you are willing to listen. Otherwise, this mentor-mentee relationship will never work out to the best of you. And tell that also to the new member, because they doesn't know what to get from the mentor and they doesn't know how to be a mentee. So these things you got to really give it to them so that you can glue that person into the club without a problem. Okay, having had these guiding principles, though we came from the legacy, the previous education program to the pathways, we still continue this four guiding principles. This is what the Ralph C. Smedley has basically based his program, which he says that I never thought that this will get into such a wonderful organization. But we being an educational organization, we are now developing the pathways into a better shape. And just after new member orientation, this is my humble guideline and request from you. Get them to enroll in the new member on the pathways just after the new member orientation. Let that person take the own pace and do the levels 1, 2, 3, or selecting parts and everything can be secondary. But get this member to enroll in the program because that is equivalent to enrolling in the Toastmasters. If that person is not enrolling in the pathways, there's no point becoming a Toastmaster. So having said that, the fourth step is what really we need to do because as a club, assign experienced club member to serve the new member's mentor. Now, this is a key. I have no words to explain this. Having this mentor-mentee relationship going, it's a mentor's duty first to make sure what the mentee and then even the VP should assign and explain why you are assigning for this new member and what to get from. So this information or communication has to go through. So arrange to do the icebreaker speech and also schedule it and help that person to develop it. That's a mentor's duty, and maybe VP EDCO also can help. And there are more other things that you can see from the site and the pathway program. It is available. It's a beautiful thing. You can even go through this pathways icebreaker. You can automatically, without your knowledge, you will develop your speech if you go through these different stages. Really, if somebody is really wanting to have the help, even self-educational program, they have to develop your icebreaker speech. So the member induction ceremony, the club has to do. And of course, we are waiting till some clubs, including my club, till the installation comes to do the induction. But remember, that's a good platform because you give that pride I talked about and give that nice environment to become a member. At that point, it's great. But sometimes somebody has to be there for 10 months or 11 months to be inducted. And if that is the case, even at a very small ceremony in the club, but of course, it has to be a what you call very nice and a very hyped up incident. We should have an induction ceremony even before that, up to the club, based on your willingness. And this is important. We always do in Toastmasters, everything we do, especially the Toastmasters International, you ask for an evaluation, even written or some sort of feedback. So please make sure that after doing the fourth project, do another exercise with this member, especially the VP8 and the mentor together. Have another follow-up interview and not a 30 minutes or whatever, it's just a 5 minutes. This is maybe after the club meeting. You just get to know what more we can do as a club so that members' progress can be sorted. And that reaffirms the continuity of that person and continuity of that person's self-development. So these are the elements that I'll say. Now this is something else. Now somebody asked about how about the revived club? How about the new member comes in? All that all in the same life cycle. So this is actually what you should do is there are no non-renewing inactive members can get re-engaged in the same way I mentioned and get to the life cycle of reactivate them with maybe new pathways, new initiatives, new requirements of that member. They may be rejoining you and let them come on board and get to that engage framework of 6 steps that I have mentioned. So this is it. And these are the resources that you can find in everywhere where all these resources are very important elements. You have the numbers, you have all these presentations ready, and I will try to show one or two if possible, maybe during the question and answer session if you want. So now you can see the complete member life cycle. You yourself as a exco or an area director or a division head, whoever who is here on board now, we have 181 participants. You are going through this cycle, or you would have gone through half of it, or you have not gone through it in the rightful sense that I have mentioned. Then what you got to do? Just remember this and try to develop these elements into every member in your club so that this quality club environment can be sorted. This whole requirement of knowing member life cycle is definitely for you to make sure that your club is becoming a quality club. And if everyone is going through this cycle of, okay, you come on board, educate them enough and more with all the resources available, get them to participate in every action that the club is doing. I always ask you to have entire club divided into 5 subcommittees. And I have not seen I think 90% of the clubs are not having at such level as for my knowledge of now. Maybe I'm wrong, but that is it. So, and make sure that you recognize them and people who are coming from the right-hand side, non-renewing, we have made them finally activated. You get them re-engaged and go through this cycle. Get them to, especially the new renewing members who have been not there and coming back, they need more input. They need to know new things because our program is evolving day by day, year by year. So make those ambassadors by taking their services. Now, other thing, very importantly, make sure that you are getting the services of seniors, getting the services of whoever is there, and ask them to come and do presentations. There are enough and more presentations that we are not doing in the clubs, especially those days we had 3 series, Club Excellence Series, Leadership Excellence Series, and likewise. So these things need to be done in the club to have the club quality and also to have the existing members retaining and also to inform and educate new members joining. So this is the life cycle that we are in. Let us practice the best that we could do and make this new member orientation is a worthwhile exercise when you go back. Of course, you are like the trainers here, and make sure that you get these points and make it a point that you actively do this member orientation henceforth, so that you can develop a fantastic qualitative environment within the club and get many more members into the club, as well as to retain existing, so that you will thrive as a club, and we will all thrive as a district. Thank you. Over to you, Imali or Mudita.
Distinguished Toastmaster Sudhash again, appreciate very much for devoting your valuable time and sharing your knowledge and experience on the importance of assisting and guiding new members. Thank you so much. Shall we give a round of applause to our distinguished Toastmaster Sudhash again? Thank you. I would like to inform all of you that attendance will not be marked during this session. And if you have any clarifications or doubts on new member orientation, now it's time for you to pose your questions to the distinguished panel moderated by our District 82 DCP Chair, Distinguished Toastmaster Modita Attanagada. DT Modita Attanagada, over to you.
Thank you, Imali, for the opportunity. Let me invite our presenter today, past regional advisor, Region 13, Distinguished Toastmaster Sudhash, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Ganga Fernando, and our Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Niroshan Nadraja, to the panel discussion. Starting off with, now Sudhash has spoken a long time. I'd like to hear from Ganga. Now, she's from just after the conference, she has visited NASA and coming back now almost 12 midnight, it seems. I'd like to know how to set a plan for new member. Yes.
Thank you, Modita, for the question and how to set a plan for the new member. So this, I would say that it has to be gradually done. One is, as our resource person mentioned, that when members join, they join for the club. So once they join, I remember if I recall back the 13 years before when I joined Toastmasters. So how the members of my club, they gradually get me through the orientation process even without telling me. So then it has to be planned according to the needs of the member. We may not have a one plan for all. The needs of the member may be different. So we have to generally give them orientation, sharing the information. Then as Sudhash mentioned, we can get the member profiling done. So there we can discover what are their needs, short-term goals, mid-term and the long-term. Accordingly, with the mentor's appointment, we can get their individual plans prepared. So this is what I feel would work in the better way. You're mute.
Yeah, thank you, Ganga, for that answer. I'd like to hear from Niroshan. If there are new members, how to retain? What's your strategy of retaining the new members in District 82?
Thank you, Modita, and pardon my casual appearance. I'm on the move from today morning, but good to be here. Modita, that's a very hypothetical and a very long answer to that question. It's another module on its own. But how do you retain new members? All I can say in a nutshell is it will depend on the club, right? It'll depend on the exco, how well you conduct the meetings, how interesting your meetings are, how vital, how your vitality and the health of the club. So many factors are in play for a member to be in Toastmasters and reap the benefits. It is all about the clubs catering to the specific needs of a member, a new member. And it'll vary from club to club. If I were to say, it'll vary from a corporate club, it'll vary from to a community club, and it will vary to an institution club as well. So it is up to the exco, up to the members, the senior members of the club, how they keep that interest level always at high speed or at 100% for any new member to experience. So this is the way we as Toastmasters have been sticking around in this movement for the last 15, 20, 25 years, some of us, right? So there is definitely something it. And maybe we felt that this was the right platform, and we saw what was being done right, and we are sticking on. So that would be my very brief answer to this question, but definitely there is a longer module to this as well, which we can do it on another day. So thank you, Modita.
Thank you, Niroshan, for that brief explanation. Going back to Sudash, you have mentioned about the mentoring. It's very important. If the mentor-mentee relationship is going on a smoothly way, what are the steps that they can take to have a good relationship?
What should not take is the question, because mentor-mentee relationship is all about, I should say, ego. Because mentee should have a mindset to learn everything from the mentor, whatever possible. Maybe every mentor may not have all what the mentee wants, but at least what that mentor has in him, or whatever the person who's dealing with as a mentor, it need to be harnessed. For that, mentee has to have that mindset, because sometimes it's like the cricket coaching. Maybe Dave Watmore is not a international recognized good batsman or a bowler, but he was able to take the coaching and then making sure that we won the World Cup. Similarly, the mentor is there for you to get. It's a sounding board, so you have to make sure that you really make use of that board. And if not, the mentor will never come. In my life of Toastmasters for last 17 years, I can vouch you that that mentor will never help that person unless you take the initiative as a mentee. So that is something that you have to, when you are doing this orientation, you should really clearly mention to the mentee that you should try and get everything. And all what mentor says may not be right also. That's another thing. Second important element, that will not be right in your own opinion. That's up to you. If you don't like it, just forget it. Don't get angry or offended with the mentor, but just forget it. And whatever you can get from that mentor, please take it and make it a point that you correct yourself or do it. But don't let that mentee to do the same mistake over and over again. And if that person is doing the same mistake or not getting to learn, it's even the mentor will come to a state where I don't want to say anything more, right? And I don't want to coach or guide this fellow, because the mentor will feel not recognized or something. And also the mentee, and I saw Sriyanti or somebody is putting up on the chat saying that let the person go through on a self-paced program. Yes, this is the key, because yeah, VP Ed will have a problem sometimes to fill the speaking roles at that particular meeting. But yet, if the member is not ready, very difficult for you to push and get it. But it is another exercise or another system or another ability of a leader or a VP to get all the members scheduled and get going with the club program in the style that we want. But the self-paced program is a key, because otherwise people might we might lose them by trying to force them and trying to. So mentor-mentee relationship is something very unique, and we have to practice that. And because we have not had in Sri Lanka, mostly if you take, Even we have this giving instructions, following instructions, giving instructions. No, mentor-mentee is not that. It's a discussion. It's a two-way process. We decide what best for the mentee. And then you go on. And then you may not be going right. Then you again get together and correct yourself. So that is the way to go in the mentor-mentee relationship. So
yes,
so-
thank you, Sudash. I think Sandhyani is asking whether can we have more than one new member orientation within a tenure?
anytime, not more than one. I prefer you to have more membership orientation, new member orientation, each for each and individual separately. It's not a program that you wait for. Because it is important, no sooner a new person comes in, get them onto the folder. Like, you have to grab them into your way of life in the club. You can't wait for another member to join, another member to join, and have a collective one. No, actually, new member orientation is almost individual, because otherwise, how can you openly discuss of what A wants, what B wants, and what C wants? It's better. Actually, this is something. It may not be a high-fi orientation session, but individually, VP Ed and the mentor together, maybe the sponsor who have sponsored all together, have a nice chat. It's a chat. So I have given all these theoretical explanations to that, but it's an informal chat that we have to find out.
So there's another question: how to conduct new member orientation for new or revived club?
Yeah, that is the challenge. I 100% agree with that. And for that, we have our area directors, we have our not even area director, even another senior member who they can trust, the club can trust, can get them to do. And the area director, division director is the idea, because that is from the hierarchy, they are supposed to do some support for the clubs. So this is one way that they support the new clubs. And it is important, even in a new club or a revived club, to have this new member orientation. Even sometimes I feel, okay, though we say new member orientation, if you drop the new apart and have this member orientation is key, because some of the clubs have never ever done this. I don't know if CGD or PQD or whoever who is here can argue with me on that. If they have not done it, it is better try and do it, because you would have realized now, in entire whoever who is present here can realize, my whole exercise today is to realize the importance of member orientation, and it helps you to retain and go the clubs in the right direction, and have these clubs the qualitative input in. And it does not just not getting the member enrolled and keeping that member. No, it impacts the entire club. So that is the impact that we are talking about.
Thank you, Sudash. Anything to add, Nitin Ganga?
Yeah, I had a connection issue and the certain things I missed. But what I would like to say is I agree with our resource person. What we have been doing, as in my understanding, as new member orientation is the first part, where we do an information session and we assign the mentors, and the around 20 to 30% of clubs have gone to the next step, having this new member interview and this member profiling. So this is something that we need to feel. So now if we look at the demographic of the district club, around 50 to 60% of the clubs are really need the support from the maybe experienced Toastmasters. And if we look at the membership base, they are between 12 to 15. Then again, another reason this year district is encouraging to have new member orientation organized even in the area level. There is a reason for that. If we take the say that club leadership, around 50% of the leaders are the members who have joined the Toastmasters during the last 6 months. So we really have a resource gap. But however, our members are not limited to the club. So therefore, the other clubs are helping the other clubs in the area. So in that way, not 100%, at least step by step, if we can put these things into the practice at the club level, so that is where I think we will embark that journey and complete the member cycle, where the member would retain. And another demographic information, Modita, if I shared, last year we had 1,200 new members joining in Toastmaster movement, the District 82. Then again, another 350 charter members joining. So currently we have membership is around 3,200 to 3,500. Then imagine more than 60%. 70% is coming from new members. But then what happened next year also, we will see a lot of new members are coming and the retention ratio has dropped. The reason is we need to, the moment they join within first 2 to 3 months, we need to address their need and show them a way. So how they can progress through. So this is where what the Sudash mentioned is would be really important. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nitin Ganga. I think our time is up, but Zoom Master Tarushi, can we take one question from the chat? You can read.
Yeah. In the meantime, there are two people who are raising their hands to ask questions. But anyways, the last question in the chat box, I think it's kind of important. It's by Toastmaster Lakala from Central Toastmasters. She was asking, according to the district awards criteria, points are awarded new members attend the new member orientation organized by the area or the division. Does this mean that the holding and new member orientation at the club level is not encouraged? Further, if new members attend to the new member orientation conducted by the club, are they expected to attend the new member orientation conducted by the area or the division as well?
Nitin Ganga.
Yeah, Modita, I will answer that question. So I already explained the reason why we are encouraging the area and division, especially at least area level, to conduct the new member orientation. But when it's come to this district award criteria, if the clubs are in a position to have good quality new member orientation program for new members, not the existing members, it has to be new members. So those things will be considered. So we didn't want to compromise the quality, and that was the reason that this program is prepared, and sometimes we have to give them rewards to get the clubs to go through the process as well. So I think the team Sudash has something to add on.
Please, Sudash.
Can I come back on this?
Yes.
I don't want to give any award for this. Let the district do whatever. I don't know. This is my own view. I really hate giving awards for this new member orientation or anything. Because this is, of course, they should join the district area or organized programs. The award criteria should not have this. In my own opinion, it's up to the district to decide as a collective decision. My humble opinion is that all these awards going to be on the golden gavel or anywhere is the killer. So we should look at first the club quality. To do the club quality, we should have the new member orientation then and there. Otherwise, the club quality will not be retained. Because if there are, as Ganga mentioned, as there are more new members, so why not you do it ASAP and make sure that they also know, even the exco is half of new. They should know what exactly before they start to preach the other. So they should be aware. So even if they have not gone through the new member orientation, that's a question. So then that point, of course, area and the division districts have to step in and help them also. So we have to have a real exercise of doing as to why we are doing it. The purpose of doing is the matter, not the awards. So let me always emphasize that we being going behind awards is the question. So it is high time for us to change this awards mentality. And to that, we have to take a bold step as the district trio to make sure that these are being attended like this today. Fantastic attendance. And that we'll have to congratulate those members because they wanted to serve the member in the right way. So thank them for that. And somebody just asked about how to support, they become as the guest before becoming a new member. Yes, this is the key. That's why I said club quality. That is why I'm saying. So how if that the current club members are not knowing what the Toastmasters gamut is, how are you going to impress the guests who are there seated thinking of becoming a member? So that is exactly, and also at the club level, you have to put those qualitative factors like the if some I have to short answer that I can give is the you have to conduct your what you call moments of truth. Not only conduct, you have to practice that moment of truth at the club so that the new member who is not guest who is going to be a new member will experience the value of joining. So to give that, you have to have members. If the new prospective member is joining a club with 8 members and all the people are attending only 5 and 5 of them are doing dual roles and trying to conduct a meeting, that prospective member will never join that club. So for that, you have to have a strategy. I can tell you one strategy if the district wants to take it on board. And since we are a small country, Sri Lanka have more clubs in one place, almost Colombo and suburb. So what you should do is put all these 5 or 8 or 6 member clubs together and have meetings. And maybe at least one online meeting or one offline meeting so that the new prospective member coming in see a wow meeting. Oh, then that will impress. The first impression matters. So let us do something like that for where the members are less in number. So my take on that is that over to you, Mudita.
Thank you very much, Sudash, for that insightful thoughts. I'd like to hear from our Club Growth Director with your closing remarks.
Thank you, Modita. Sudash, on your point of district taking bold steps, definitely we'll be taking bold steps. So I'm waiting Mahinda and Ganga's return to Sri Lanka for us to initiate everything that.
No, Niroshan, return from the moon or NASA or somewhere, no? You said?
I actually don't know where they are, so I hope they are on Earth.
We are here.
You have to find out.
I had to find out.
And some new and some have just mentioned. I don't know whether you heard about it. Okay,
I await their safe return back to Sri Lanka. So looking forward to that. Very briefly, thank you very much, Sudash, for sharing all your viewpoints. The district's vision and the strategy this year has been communicated very clearly. We are not looking at opening clubs around the corner and just trying to ensure our dashboard looks very attractive. It is very purely and strategically we want to ensure that our membership grows. So this is something which we are very closely looking at. This is a wonderful, wonderful moment. We all know about it. So it is up to us as Toastmasters to ensure that those who deserve this, characteristics of being a Toastmaster is very much clearly communicated to all the potential members. Because once they are into it, I'm sure they're in for a life-changing experience. So thank you very much, Modita, and wish you all the best, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Niroshan, and thank you all the panelists, DTM Sudash Linage, DTM Ganga Fernando, DTM Niroshan Raja, for sharing your valuable experience with our trainers. Yes, Ganga?
I think there were a few members who has raised their hand. Shall we quickly give them opportunity?
Time is up. That's what, if you can do it briefly, Niroshan, shall we unmute?
Yes, thanks, Ganga, for giving the opportunity. And I completely agree with what DTM Sudash mentioned. However, since now that we have published the district awards for this year and there was a certain clarification that was asked whether the clubs can also conduct their new member orientation. My point of view is there are clubs that are capable of doing it, and they would, of course, obviously go ahead and do that. So if they are allowed to do that, I think we would need to amend it on the district awards as well, if they are allowed to do that. But at the end of the day, they would also follow what is there on the criteria. And I've been raised questions from my area directors. Why is it at the area level? Because certain clubs, they can and they do have it at their club levels as well. So, and another, that's one point. And the other one I wanted to raise is, previous years or the last couple of years when we did have the new member orientation, there was a clear format for it where we discussed about the history of Toastmasters, then the history of the club, which I believe is very important because any new member walking into any new club or their club, needs to know the legacy behind or how the club has come to where it is today, because then only they will also have a sense of purpose coming into that club. So that was one thing. And then the third segment was about pathways. So my question is, are we to follow a similar format, or is the district going to say, okay, this is what needs to go in for this year? Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, and Niroshan, thank you. As I answered to the previously also Lakalya's concern, if the clubs are in a position to do the new member orientation, so if they have done it, that will be considered. And by looking at the holistic view only, we propose that areas to conduct this new member orientation, because it is only 20 to 30% of the clubs are in a position to do. If you don't have members, and almost all the members are new members of the club, so they cannot have the quality new member orientation without the involvement of the area director. So that was the reason of shifting certain dimension this time. Then the second thing is the clubs can go ahead with the existing format that we used to follow. But what we have been doing as a new member orientation is, this is for everyone's understanding, it is just the information session, having the Toastmaster history, club legacy, and the pathway. That is the first step. The second step is we really encourage to have this one-to-one interaction with the new members. So those guidelines we will be shared, followed by this orientation program. So those are the things. Yes, and Modita, one more, I think Pabasara has been raising the hand.
Before we go to Pabasara's question, I'd like to remind our participants, try to switch on your camera. Now Zoom Master will take after her question. Toastmaster Pabasara, you can raise your question now.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Actually, this is a request, especially from DTM's Sudesh, and also from DTM Niroshan. And now it was mentioned that there is a lot of things to be discussed or explained about the leadership of possibilities that a Toastmaster could get from a different level up to district level. So my humble request is actually to have another session. So we are lucky to have this sort of a district level leaders to share the knowledge, and please arrange another session to explain the ladder that we can climb up in the leadership, and also as DTM Niroshan mentioned, the way to keep the members. I mean, it's a vast area, of course. We would be very happy if we can have a session on that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pabasara.
Friends, we'll go for the photo.
Yeah, wait on. One important thing, Pabasara, it's that learning about the opportunity, as I mentioned, is the key. Because to tell you the fact that is my humble request is to do that even from the district to organize something like that. It's better, as you really mentioned, because world over, another realization of mine, the recent realization of going through as the ID candidate, speaking to, as I mentioned, over 112 districts. Some districts are finding difficult to find an area director. Some are finding it difficult to have division directors. And we are so much blessed with people like you in this Sunday morning joining us. I really salute all of you from the bottom of my heart, not because of anything, making districts edu so powerful, because you know how difficult for you to get to an area director position in our country. But in other countries, 10, 15, 20 area directors are not to be found. So we don't want to get there. And that is my exercise of joining and saying yes to this program, because we as District 82 should set that example. We have enough and more leaders when the time permits to step up and do the honors for our district. Thank you all for joining this for that matter. Over to you,
Yes, thank you very much. Zoom Master Tarushi, shall we go for the photo?
Yes. So with that, we will be going to take the group photo. So I would like to ask everyone to turn on their cameras so I can quickly take the group photos since we are running out of time. Okay. I think we are good. So I am going to take the photograph now. 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Okay, let's take another few. 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Okay. Okay, since we have some participants that are not turned on their cameras, so let me quickly take another few screenshots as well. Okay, we are good. DJ Mimali, over to you.
Over to you, Imali.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tarushi, for taking the photos on behalf of us. And I must thank DTM Sudashri Anage, DTM Ganga Fernando, DTM Niroshan Nadaraja, and DTM Modita for moderating and giving your valuable time to go through the question and answers session and giving everyone an opportunity to give out their questions. And now we will go on to see a video clip, a 5 minutes video clip. So over to you, Toastmaster Tarushi.
Okay.
Let's enjoy this video clip.
There's probably at least 100 different soft skills, but typically the top 2 that comes up the most are communication and leadership. And through Toastmasters, I think that's helped resolve all those areas. I'm a lot more assertive, but I'm also able to put together my thoughts and be able to construct them and communicate them.
And without Toastmasters, I found that
I beg your pardon. We are having a small technical issue, so let me get back to you within few seconds.
There's probably at least 100 different soft skills, but typically the top 2 that comes up the most are communication and leadership. And through Toastmasters, I think that's helped resolve all those areas. I'm a lot more assertive, but I'm also able to put together my thoughts and be able to construct them and communicate them.
And without Toastmasters, I found that learning curve takes a lot longer. I think that would have came 20 years down the line with just living and learning in the business world. And what I found is that I feel like I've short-tracked that.
Before I was able to sit back and just contribute to meetings if I wanted to. Now I'm leading those meetings and I'm able to do that without the shakes, without the quakiness in my voice because I've had all the practice with Toastmasters.
There are many people that will ask me, "You're with Toastmasters, aren't you?" And I'll say, "Yes, I am." "Wow, you really are a great public speaker. I need to work on that skill." But it also helps that they get to see me standing in front of the room with confidence.
Well, we like to say that good ideas can come from anywhere, but the thing that people need is the ability to articulate their ideas in a clear way. And so it's been really neat to see some of our staff who've been in Toastmasters in these bigger all-staff meetings have the confidence to speak up and articulate some interesting idea that they have to share, and that's been a really neat thing to see.
And Toastmasters is one program that I found has been a significant benefit for our organization. Internally, it creates camaraderie, it creates connection between departments that otherwise may not have been connected.
One of the newer team members on our team, I had met him through Toastmasters, and so when he joined our team, it was like, "Hey, we were in Toastmasters together," so we hit it off right away.
It's a very open, friendly, encouraging atmosphere, and I didn't realize it was going to be that beneficial.
It pays dividends when it comes to an organization, when it comes to retention and also recruitment. When people see that you're putting that effort and you're really investing in your people, your greatest asset, then all of a sudden you see the payoff. One day you're going to wake up or walk into the office or whatever you might be, and you're going to see, wow, that did really pay off. Now I can see the benefit of putting that effort on the front end to really see that, you know, that was the right thing to do.
Hi, I'm Dhananjay Hettiarachi, the world champion of public speaking 2014, and I come from the beautiful island of Sri Lanka. There are three ways that Toastmasters help corporates. And I think the first way is helping management understand the art of saying something. You know, it could be how you do your performance evaluation with your colleague. It could be how you handle a board meeting. Toastmasters will tell you, hey, how do you say what you want to say in a manner that improves the communication efficiency? Now, the second way Toastmasters helps is that it has identified specific competencies that are important for specific roles in organizations. It could be technical presentations, it could be negotiations, it could be something where you've got to be in front of the media. So we in Toastmasters, we have this scenario-based approach. Scenario-based learnings are neatly bundled into this beautiful program that allows your staff to pick the scenario, pick the competencies, and learn it. The third one is that it gives your employees a safe space to talk about the ideas that they have in their mind. And if somebody is smart enough, maybe if I was the CEO of my company, I'd listen in. And really, you can get a lot of information about how your employees are feeling, what their philosophy is, and what their ideas are. So these three ways are the ways that corporates around the world leverage Toastmasters to help their company culture become more progressive, more transparent, and more networked.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video and gathered knowledge and expertise as well. Now we go on to the next session, the second session for the day. The humorous and evaluation contest season is coming up. And District 82 would like our clubs to have quality contests and produce outstanding contestants. We have a very important session now on contest management. To conduct the contest management session, a well-experienced, knowledgeable individual who has experience in international and national Toastmaster speech contests. So y'all are lucky to have her giving the contest management, doing the contest management session, and a past district assistant chief judge, a past district finance manager, and district audit committee chair of District 82. And she is a member of the Kanam Toastmasters Club and currently area director of Division A, Area A1. A professional banker with over 17 years of experience in the banking sector and presently working as the Assistant Vice President, Operational Risk at Citibank. He is an associate of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Sri Lanka and ACCA UK, and also an associate of Chartered Institute of Management Accountants UK. She loves traveling around the world and within Sri Lanka too. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Sita Kadirigamanathan. Over to you, DTM Sita Kadirigamanathan.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Imali, for that very kind introduction, I would say. Let me just jump right into the session of contest management. So good morning, my dear fellow Toastmasters. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be conducting this session today. You did notice on how a speech can be affected by long pauses or ineffective pauses by the video that we saw just a little while ago, and how pauses can be effective. But I'm not here to train you on how to be a better contestant. I think that was done in the emergence part. But we are here to learn how best we can conduct a good quality contest in the district. So let me just share my screen right now. DTM Imali, is the screen visible for you?
Yes. You may proceed, DTM Sita.
Thank you, Imali. Yes. So, why do we need to have a speech contest? Again, I would also have liked to have this in person, but unfortunately, I am staring at a screen and you're also staring right back at me, which I cannot see except Toastmaster Imali's lovely face. So please pardon me for that. Why do we need to have good speech contest? It is an opportunity to practice competitive speaking, that is from the contestant side point of view, and to have interesting educational programs for the public and audience in general. Even if we are not contestant, we can always go and witness a club contest, area, division, district, and learn from those. And it is also an opportunity to learn by observing the proficient speakers, a part of the contest share script, and to test our limits, to test our knowledge, to see where we stand. If we do compete, we will know where we are standing. And also we learn and grow from all the other talented speakers out there. Now, there are different types of contests that each and every Toastmasters district will have, from humorous, evaluation, international, table topics, tall tales and video. Now, you may think that you have not heard this tall tales and video. Even it's kind of a new area for me as well, even though I've been in Toastmastering for 10 years, because the video contests are only permitted for undistricted districts. So District 82, Sri Lanka, I believe all of you are from District 82 today. So we do not have video contest, and tall tales is also another contest that we don't have. So we primarily focus only on the top 4 contests, which is humor, evaluation, international speech, and table topics contest. So I'm actually having this session. There may be very senior Toastmasters out there, but for those who have joined newly for the first time, I'm going to go from the very basic level. So it might be a bit boring for some of you. But then again, it is important for us to get all the aspects of a good contest right. Why? End of the day, as a district, we want to select the best contestants and send them for the international stage when it comes to the international speech contest. The humor, evaluation, and table topics contest will stop at a district winner level. And the international level contest, as the name suggests, is an international speech contest, which will go all the way up to the international stage, where you saw Toastmaster Dhananjay Hettiarachchi, who is the world champion of public speaking 10 years ago. So we can produce that next international champion from Sri Lanka as well. And this season, we are focusing on humor and evaluation only. Why? Because this 6 months is going to be that. And then we will have another segment of contest management somewhere maybe in December or January for the international and table topics. So the essentials of a good contest, especially this is the responsibility of the EXCO to appoint a good contest chair. First and foremost, to fix the date of a contest. Why do we need to fix the date of a contest well in advance? To make sure that everything goes right with the contest without procrastinating, without last minute planning, where you go on to take and do a contest. Say if today is Sunday, by Friday, if you want to arrange a contest, there's no way that you can do it. I have had calls as the chief judge, somebody, a contest chair, calling me on a Sunday morning and saying, can you be the chief judge for our club contest? I say, can you let me know the date? And they say it is on the 31st of August. And I in no way accept any of those, because why? We might not be able to find judges. I know there are a good panel of judges that District 82 has trained last weekend by DTM Priyakara, but still, whether they will be available, whether all the venue or the logistics for the contest will be there, whether there will be role players. So it is always important, especially PQD Madam, Distinguished Toastmaster Ganga Fernando, all the way from NASA Space Center last night sent me a message saying, tell the clubs to have a contest fixed and inform the relevant contest chairs and all the role players at least 2 weeks in advance. And also, you have already been informed, I don't know whether some of you may know, the division contest dates have already been fixed at the district officer training program. So then an area contest should at least fall 2 weeks before the division contest date. And you work backwards, a club contest should fall before 2 weeks before the area contest. Why? That will give sufficient time for the contestants who are advancing to the next level to prepare well for the next level as well. And the important thing is to appoint a contest chair. Once you appoint the contest chair, the EXCO need not just sit and relax. You will also have to assist the contest chair to do all the relevant preparations. But it is the contest chair's duty to appoint the chief judge. It is up to the contest chair to call and then write a formal email to the chief judge. I have received calls from club EXCOs, from club presidents, from club VP education saying, Madam, can you be the club contest chief judge? And I asked that particular lady or gent who's calling, are you planning to contest? And the answer is sometimes a yes. So if you are planning to contest specially, you are not supposed to be calling the chief judge. It is the responsibility of the contest chair. We will see who is eligible to contest for a particular contest later on. So make sure once you appoint the contest chair, ask them to reach out to the chief judge, even though you might be the president or the vice president of that club. And also you need to fix a budget with your particular treasurer in the club. see whether you can get a venue free. Then maybe you can add on the other costs that would come in, especially costs relating to certificates if you want to hand over some awards, maybe the tokens for the judges, or refreshments, or anything else. That would be an extra. The contest chair has to be familiar with the latest rule book. Now, every year that we get the contest rule book, it changes. I think all of you may know that last year's contest rule book will have some changes to this current year's contest rule book, which I will again show later on. So make sure if you are being the contest chair for that particular club, area, division, or district, that you read the rule book line to line, word to word, so that you are familiar. And if someone wants to know anything, you know what is there. Also, the documentation that is required for a particular contest, which I will be showing, and make sure that you plan from day one. Now, when you take the anatomy of a contest, the contest role players are very, very important, and you should know who are going to be the contest role players for each level of the contest. So there will always be a contest chair. In a club contest, you can appoint a club contest master if you want, or if not, the contest chair can carry on the duties. But it is always good to give some leadership opportunities to other fellow club members as well. So you can always have a contest chair and a contest master. Of course, the contest chair has to appoint the chief judge, and then the chief judge will appoint the rest of the judges who are supposed to be invisible. I know sometimes it's obvious when you go to a club contest, you see some members who are not from that division who have landed there, then you know that they're judges, but please don't go and ask them, you have come for judging. You're supposed to be anonymous, they're supposed to be invisible actually, so don't ask such a question from the judges. And the chief judge should arrange a separate briefing for the judges. And also the contest role players, it is important to have some audience members as well, because it cannot only consist of contestants and the role players, which is going to be very boring as a contestant to speak only to the role players there. Having said that, now I would like to stress on, if your club has good speakers or even average speakers or even the first time new members, encourage them as much as possible to take up to be a contestant and not a role player. Don't appoint them as role players and say, you can be a timer, you're a new member, can you be the sergeant at arms? No. First ask them, would they like to participate in a contest? And encourage them, because who knows, you might find the next champion in that particular club. So it is always very good to encourage all your club members to be contestants. Let the judges have 15 members to vote for and to find the best speaker. So it is okay for the judges to do that. So make sure you encourage your Toastmaster club members to become contestants. And if you need role players, you can always ask other club members to come in as role players. There is no restriction stopping a timer or a sergeant at arms or a tally counter to come in from another club. It can be from your same area, it can be from the same division, it can be from a totally different division. That's perfectly all right. If you can't find help, please ask your area director to find these particular role players for you. I'm sure there are many, many members out there who would be more than happy to come and help you as role players. So make sure that you ask first and foremost all your contestants to try, all your members to try to contest. So it is the responsibility of the contest chair not to just send out a mail informing of the club contest date and say, whoever wants, just apply. And if you don't find any application, just nominate 2 people. No, please don't do that. Try to convince more and more members to contest. The most important thing is not only reading the speech contest rule book, it is to understand what is mentioned in the rule book. The latest rule book can be found. I just took the screenshots yesterday, so I don't think the website would have changed much after this. Where you go to Toastmasters International website, you don't need to even log in for this first and foremost. Go to resources, click on resources, click on speech contest, and there's a whole heap of material here which will assist you. I have got several calls as the chief judge asking for all these resources where it is readily available on the website. So when you have free time on a weekend, just log into this and see what information is there for you, which will assist you as a contestant or even as a contest role player. When you click on this first, icon which says the contest rulebook. You get it in many languages. So obviously we already have English in our district. And this is the latest contest rulebook. Please make sure to download this July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 with Cyril Junior Dim, the public speaking champions picture. The last year's rulebook had Verity Prize. So make sure you download the latest rulebook. Why? Because we want to have the latest rulebook in hand so that we know what is the current rules applicable for this year's contest. If it can change over time, but luckily this year there is only one rule, which is a very important rule, I would say, is on the rule change in the 2023-24 rule book, which says that the eligibility, the candidates for district positions elected by the district council for the term beginning the upcoming July 1st are ineligible to contest. What do you mean by that? Now, if I, for example, if I was an area director and next year I plan to contest for a post which is elected by the district council, when you say elected, I think District 82, we have the trio which is elected and the division directors again, which is elected. Whereas the top 7, the balance, the admin, PR and the finance managers, they are selected. So that is the difference between elected and selected. So if you plan to compete for any of these posts, the trio, the division directors post in the next year, July 1st, please do not go and enroll to be a contestant because you are not eligible to be a contestant for that year's particular contest. And I would like to also stress on some of the rules which came in the last year's rule book. Please note the year change which I have mentioned. This is important. Why? Because I know for a fact that this year in February, there were so many contestants who could not compete in the international speech contest. So I thought I will tell that here because some of you might have not been aware of what was happening in the last year's rule book. So you have to have completed and obtain your certificate of completion in level 1 and 2 of any given path. It has to be one path, 2 levels. It can't be one level in either of the path or earned a Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Now, earlier the rule book specifically said that if you had completed 6 projects from the Competent Communicator Manual, then you are eligible to compete for a ISE contest. That rule changed last year and it is still valid this year and it will go on, I presume, where you need to be either a Distinguished Toastmaster, that is, it can be in the previous or the current pathways, or have earned at least 2 levels. So if you have not completed your 2 levels for this year, please make sure to complete it by February. And I have also noted that sometimes if a particular contestant is not able to complete a particular level 1 or 2, the club contest tends to get postponed. Please don't do that. Don't derive the opportunity for where that particular contestant will have more days to practice for the area contest. So try to get those contestants to complete their level 2 at least before January this year so that they can compete for ISC. Having said that, for evaluation contest and humorous speech contest, there is no requirement. You only have to be a paid member in a club in good standing. Now, if I was to go for a club in good standing, yes, here it is. A club that has paid the dues for at least 8 members in that current cycle, and out of the 8 members, at least 3 members should be continuing from the previous term. Those are the clubs in good standing. I will show you how to check that, but I'll just come back to the rule book. Also, there are new clubs. I think Ganga said there were so many new members who have joined Toastmasters this year. So if a club has chartered less than 1 year before the club contest, they are permitted to compete without having completed this above requirement because obviously they wouldn't have had time to complete their 2 levels. But the club should have been officially chartered before the area contest. And also another point that came in the rule book last year was where the contestant should not reference another contestant nor their speech during the same contest which they are competing in. So make sure when you're the contest chair, when you're doing the briefing for the particular contestants, to inform them of this rule, because there could be, like I said, contestants who don't know of this particular rule, and by mistake they might come there, they might see some popular Toastmaster and they might reference them and add or talk about whatever they have already spoken. So please, during the briefing to the contestants, tell them why this should not be done. Now, the next important thing, this is specific for the timers and also the chief judges to know that when it comes to timing for humorous speech contest, you know that a humorous speech contest will be from 5 to 7 minutes, 5 minutes and up to 7 minutes. So you are given 30 seconds here and there to make sure that you are not disqualified. Now, fractions of a second is not considered. So what happens is, if a particular contestant speaks for 4 minutes, 29 seconds and 59 milliseconds, they have not qualified to be judged because they are time disqualified. Similarly, if a contestant speaks for 7 minutes, 30 seconds and 25 milliseconds in a stopwatch, you would see that they are actually eligible to compete and they will not be disqualified. The second that it reaches 7 minutes and 31 seconds is where they will be disqualified. So the fraction of a second is not to be considered when disqualifying a contestant. So if you see 7 minutes, 30 seconds and 59 milliseconds, then automatically that person should not be disqualified. So timers, be very, very careful. Don't listen to the contestant and lose track of time. That is something I always tell the timers when I'm a chief judge. Make sure that you're focused on the contest and you stop the watch the minute that the contestant stops his speech. So that it can be that millisecond which will determine whether they are qualified or they are disqualified. And please do not be biased and think that, oh no, I know this particular contestant and therefore I think he deserves to be in the next round. So let me write 7 minutes 31 seconds as 7 minutes 30 seconds. No, please don't do that. We are all bound by the core values of Toastmasters, where I think integrity matters the most. So make sure that your integrity is intact when you are a timer. It might be, you might think that it is a very insignificant role. No, it is, I think, the most important role in a particular contest. So make sure that when you're timing, you are fully focused on your timing. You look at the stopwatch and write the exact number of milliseconds, even if needed, when it comes to this particular criteria where you think that they might be disqualified. Now, this website has a lot of information. And I have also got requests asking whether I would have the latest certificates, whether I could just email it to them. So all you have to do is go to resources again, speech contest. Let me just show you here so that it will make it easier for you to search. Yeah. When you go to resources here, all you have to do is select speech contest. And this is what I showed you in my presentation. And also if you scroll down, if you click on this particular, say, evaluation contest for this, there is the evaluation speech contest. Okay. Now, when you click on download, it will download the entire kit for you, where you don't have to worry about finding all this particular information. And once you click on that, I've just saved it from downloading. You will see that from the eligibility form of the judges to the timer sheet, tally counters, results form, and the notification of the contest winners, everything is there for that particular contest. It is easy for you to download this rather than calling and asking and searching for it. So contest chairs, make sure that you have this ready. So when the chief judge comes and asks you for all these documents, you don't panic and try to go find a photocopy at that time, looking to find what you need to print. And then of course the contests sometimes do get delayed because we are not ready with all this documentation. Now, like I said, the eligibility is where in a humorous speech, table topics and evaluation contest, the paid members of a club in good standing, it should be reflected in the Toastmasters International website. So make sure that their membership dues are current and they have renewed for that particular cycle. Don't think that they have been a member for Toastmasters in the last 8 years. They might have not paid that particular renewal cycle. So they have to maintain eligibility at all levels of the contest. And in case in a future contest that we determine that they were not eligible, say at the time of the cup contest, they will be disqualified and not be allowed to proceed further. These international speech contestants, I've already told that you have to achieve level 1 and 2 of the pathway or have a DTM award. And if your club has chartered, say, example, on June 27th, and your area contest is within that 1 year, your members do not have to complete this requirement, only for the international speech contest. Now, how do we find whether the contestants are eligible? As the contest chair, again, it is your responsibility to go to the website, and you will be able to just search here on this top right-hand corner. You can enter this word, speech contest eligibility checker. Obviously, the contest chair should have the member ID that will be filled in the contestant's profile and the last name. So when you just enter this, it will lead to a screen like this. You can enter anybody's name. Now, this is mine, for example. I am currently holding this position, so I will not be eligible to compete. And you can see whether that particular member has paid for that particular renewal cycle. Similarly, check for all the contestants. Alternatively, you can always check with your Vice President Education or Vice President Membership, but it is always better for you yourself to go and see whether that member's dues have been paid for that. Now, these are the contests who are not eligible to compete in a particular contest. The current district officers, like I said, I am an area director this year, so I cannot compete. The incumbent international officers and directors also cannot compete. The region advisors, now say Sudash, when he was the regional advisor, he wouldn't have been able to compete. International officer and director candidates, whoever who is planning to apply for any of these posts, cannot compete. The immediate past district director, in our case, Nisal, cannot compete this year. And this is the new rule that I told, right, at the beginning, saying this is the only rule change that is there in this year's rule book, where candidates for district positions elected by the district council for the term beginning the upcoming July 1st, you cannot contest. Anybody who is a presenter at an educational session cannot compete. Role players at that contest and target speakers. Now, for example, I have seen club contests where there are not enough role players, and I said, please do ask your other club members to come in and support in role players. There can be people who will be a timer in a particular, say, humorous speech contest, because they are not competing for humor, but they want to compete for evaluation. That is not to be allowed. So make sure that you get in more members to come in and help with the role players. Why? Because they can get an unfair advantage. Say, for example, if they're introducing the contest chair, they have spoken. So we have seen how they speak and how fluent they are, whatever. So make sure that you don't give them that unfair advantage and have more other members participating. And no contestant can compete in more than one area contest of a given type, even if the areas are in two different divisions or districts. For example, if I was part of the Colombo Toastmasters, and if I was eligible to compete, this year I'm not, and I decide to compete at Colombo and I win, and I move on to area A1 contest. For example, if I held dual membership, for example, in another club, say Pinnacle Toastmasters Club, then I cannot compete for area G2 area contest. I can compete in the same club level contest in multiple clubs. I can compete as much as 5 clubs if I want. But if I'm going for the area level contest, I should be able to only select one particular area and compete. In case you see if they have competed in a different area, they are going to be disqualified. They are not allowed to proceed. And candidates for elected district leader positions for the term beginning subsequent July are ineligible to serve as a contest official or as a test speaker at the area, division, or district level. Again, make sure if you are looking for test speakers, especially for the evaluation contest, do not ask people who you think might be competing. And if in case any of you who are planning to stand for district leader positions, apply when the nominations committee call for these nominations. Make sure that you don't go and do a test speech and become ineligible. So please try to avoid that. I already spoke about these clubs in good standing. Now, what happens if I pay my dues on time, but the club treasurer does not do that prior to the deadline? Then, of course, you will not be able to compete because your dues have to be paid and current with the Toastmasters International, which is why I asked you all to check on the tracker. Now, these are the documents that I told that it is required, which you can, of course, download from the Toastmasters International website under resources, which I again showed. Download all of these documents And make sure that you have sufficient copies for each of these documents. Now, for example, contestants' eligibility and originality. If you have 10 contestants and you print 8, of course, it's not enough. Similarly, for judges, certification of eligibility and code of ethics, again, ask the chief judge how many judges that they're going to bring and have one extra. You can always use it at the next contest. Similarly, for the ballots, don't forget to print the tiebreakers ballot. That has also happened where I have gone for judging, where they forget that there is supposed to be a different ballot for the tiebreakers ballot, which has to rank all the contestants, whereas the other ballot has only the top three to be ranked. The evaluation preparatory notes is something that we have to give the evaluation contestants, and they can write only in that piece of paper, which can be later used when they are delivering an evaluation. The timer sheet, of course, you need 2 each for each contest. The tally sheet, sometimes there can be up to 3 tally counters per contest. So you can always have 6 for each of the session, like for evaluation and humor, 3 each. And the results announcement sheet is the results form which you will be giving the chief judge. The certificates, of course, you will be giving for that. Make sure that you have the certificate of participation with you and the top 3, the first, second, and third place certificates given with the chief judge's documents, so that the chief judge will be the one who will be writing the certificates for the top 3. The participation certificate, contest chair, please retain with you. Keep it signed. You're supposed to sign those and award it during the time of the interviews. And also the awards, if applicable, sometimes they do give trophies at certain contests. So you can have that ready. And the script for the contest chair is an essential. I again asked, I disturbed Ganga a lot when she was in US yesterday at NASA. So I asked whether we could have a formalized script for the district. So I think they can always come up with something. Just check it with another senior Toastmaster, because sometimes I have heard last year in a physical contest where they say you will be checking your video quality and you will be asked the question. Now, there is no video quality checking done during an in-person contest. So read through the contest chair script. Be familiar with it, because sometimes we tend to mispronounce certain words. All those are important. So always practice and rehearse the contest chair script well in advance so that the contest will have a smooth flow. In addition to that, the winner's notification is not mentioned here, but you can always give it to the chief judge, the contest chair. And the winner's notification, from whom to whom it should go, is very important. The current contest chair should not go ask the chief judge for that winner's notification list. The chief judge is expected to send that particular winner's notification to the next level contest chair. For example, if the area contest chief judge finishes marking all the contestants on that particular winner's notification, they will have to find out who is the division contest chair, fill the particular winner's notification with the email address, with the club numbers and the contact numbers, and send it across to the division contest chair only. Do not give it to the division director nor the area directors. If they ask, please tell them that you will be sending it only to the next level contest chair. These are some additional resources again under speech contest that you will be able to find, where or how you can conduct quality speech contest, which I am currently speaking about, and also the speech contest certificates. Just when you have time before a contest, make sure to go through this website to identify. Now, notes to the contestants. Now, I was talking about the contest chair all this time. They should be aware of the current rule book, so they in no way get disqualified. I don't want that happening to any contestant without knowing they mention somebody's name. So it is always important to go through the contest, the current contest rule book. They sign the certificates of originality and eligibility, and sign any videography release form if necessary. If their videos are to be, if their speeches are to be recorded, they have to sign this. Fill in their contestant's profile with all their information, and physical attendance at contests. They may appoint someone to draw lots on behalf of them. Now, if a particular contestant is getting late for a particular contest, do not hold the contest for that particular, do not hold on to not starting the contest, waiting for that particular contest. I was told that it's also happening, especially when there are prominent contestants of a club. It should not be the case, because everyone has their time and they're spending their valuable time to come for a contest. So make sure you start on time. If that particular contestant is not there on time, he or she can appoint a proxy to draw the lots. come on to another point later on in this. And they must be aware of the contest dates and venue at least 2 weeks in advance. So make sure, now we are almost at the end of August. You have only September to run your club contest. So make sure you plan the date, appoint the contest chair and ask them to appoint the chief judge, so that October will have all the area contests, I assume. And then November, December, we'll be having the division contest. And also the contestant should know the rules for props and stage usage. The stage usage should be defined to the particular contestants well in advance before the contest. The use of props, including any sort of electronic device, must be notified to the contestant. If it cannot be placed or removed within that 1 minute silence, it cannot be used. The contestant can appoint someone to help them place the prop, and it is not the responsibility of the contestant nor any contest official. You can't ask the chief judge to do it. You can't ask even the sergeant at arms to do it, because they have been given specific tasks like guarding the door. If you want someone to go and place a chair on the stage, appoint someone from your club to do it. Don't ask another fellow contestant, which is not advisable. Ask someone from your club to support you and do that. And it should not endanger the audience in any way. Why I'm saying this, I was at a club when suddenly one contestant actually threw out toffees in such force that it came and hit some people. I don't know whether they wanted to hit the judges. It would have caused a negative effect in the marking, but try not to endanger any of the audience in any way. And moving on, a contest can be held only with one contestant, or a club may choose to nominate. Now, why do you think that a contest can be held with only one contestant? Because there are not, others do not want to compete. But still, for all, you hold a contest. Why? Because that will give that opportunity for that contestant to deliver his speech and, of course, get some feedback from other fellow, not contestants, other fellow club members. And also he can see whether he's time disqualified, in which occasion that the audience laughs, so that he can use that as a benefit for the next level contest. A club can choose to nominate contestants, but I do advise all the clubs to try and hold contests. It can be your first year as a chartered club. It can be a club with only 8 or 9 members, but still do hold club contests, so that the best of the best will go on to the advanced level. Now, this is one scenario that I think was done. This slide, some I got from Piyakara and previously, I think, done by the district chief judge. At that time, now CGD Niroshan. So if there are 3 members competing at an area contest and one contestant is disqualified because of time, and the other 2 announced winners are not able to compete in the division contest, the AD will ask to nominate another area member to represent that particular area. Can it be allowed? No, it is specifically not allowed. So make sure that if you want to have more contestants participating, when you're planning your club or area contest, encourage as much as contestants, so that if the first, second or third place cannot go, at least we'll have a 4th or 5th place winner to represent your club, your area. And this is the scenario which I said that not to hold on to starting off a particular contest because the contestant is getting late. So in this particular scenario, the contestant had appointed a proxy and his speaking position was number 6. The contest begins, but still there is no sign of the contestants. When speaker number 2 is presenting the speech, the contestant arrives. Can he or she participate? Again, no. Up to the time when there is introductions going, the MC's opening address, the welcome address, the contestants can walk in. But when they are reading out the contestant speaking order, the contest chair will announce saying the speaking order was drawn by lots in the morning and is as follows: contestant number 1, contestant number 2, and thereafter. So at that time, if that particular contestant is not in the room, they will not be eligible to compete in that particular contest. Do not hold it off for anything. He can be a district finalist. He can be a world international speaking public champion finalist, but please do not hold it on for anyone. Make sure at the time when they are announcing the names, if they're not there, sorry, they should know to come early. I know there can be other personal circumstances which prevent that particular contestant from coming, but it is unfair for all the other contestants and the judges to hold on to the contest. So make sure to arrive on time so that you are also comfortable to take part. Now the test or target speaker, who selects the test speaker? In District 82, mostly I have seen is that the chief judge brings in the test speaker. And in the club level contest specifically, I think that benefits because why? Because if a particular club knows who is their club contest chair, they might figure out, okay, this particular contest chair has some friends who might be a test speaker. So it's always good to give that independency to allow the target speaker to be brought in by the chief judge. Having said that, the contest chair also can appoint the test speaker. So as a result, I encourage you as the contest chair, especially those who are here today who are going to be contest chairs, ask the chief judge whether they will be bringing the particular test speaker or do you want to appoint someone. So make sure that you ask this. This mail again was sent by, I think, Nirosha Nataraja some years ago. And this is what TMI has replied because there is no specific rule mandating who selects the test speaker. It can be either the contest chair or the chief judge. So contest chairs, make sure that you ask your chief judge whether they are bringing the test speaker or whether you have to appoint the test speaker. Sometimes there can be a scenario where the chief judge brings in a test speaker and the contest chair also has brought in a test speaker. Then what to do? Unfortunately, one test speaker has to just sit and watch the whole contest. So make sure you communicate that well in advance with the chief judge. The test speech can be a contest-type speech or a project speech from the Toastmasters Pathways Learning Experience. And it is always recommended that the test speaker is not from the same club where the contest is happening. Say if there was a Colombo Toastmasters Club contest, I should not be the test speaker because some of the members might have seen me before and thereby they have a better advantage or they might have even heard that speech. So always it is recommended, not that it's prohibited, but always try to get some other test speaker as a speaker. So during the contest, if there is a power failure, the speaker will get an extra 30 seconds grace time. How will we do that? It is the responsibility of the chief judge when there is a power failure, if the timing device and the mic fails, or when the timing device. Now there are two questions. I wanted to have some polls on this, but unfortunately due to the time restriction, I'm not doing that. Only time that we can give this additional 30 seconds is only when the timing device fails. When the mic fails, sorry, you are not given an extra 30 seconds. It can be at the Center for Banking Studies or at a club contest. That is why judges have been advised to sit in the second and third rows. So even in the case of a power failure, you will be able to hear the particular contestant. So only at the time that the timing device fails, that you are expected to give that additional 30 seconds grace period for that particular contestant. And when the timing device, why I say is that it can be something which is running with the use of power. If that fails, you can always use the timing cards, but by switching, obviously you're going to lose a bit of time. Contestant will also miss out on that. Thereby, we give that additional 30 seconds. I always tell the timer, some of you may not know, that if the particular power has failed, when you're having the color cards, all you have to do is switch on your, you're supposed to use a stopwatch for the timing. So you will have your mobile in hand, switch on the torch and hold it against the card. Don't hold it to your face. It will be very scary to look at. Hold it against the card so that the contestant can see the card clearly. Even if there is a blackout, total complete power failure, the contestant is expected to continue. So in summation, you're supposed to plan in advance, go through the rule book, check the eligibility, check the contest checklist, whether all the documents have been prepared. Contestant checklist, of course, is contestant has to give their profiles and also sign the eligibility form and the do's and don'ts, which I now spoke to you about. And also have contingency planning, like if there was a power failure and all such scenarios, what you're going to do with there's a backup generator and all sorts of things are to be checked. So I have spoken a lot. I think we can now conclude this session. We just stop sharing the screen for now and hand over back to the beautiful MC Imali.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster DTM Sita Kadiramanathan, for that very informative and educative session, which would definitely help the participants to conduct quality contests. Thank you once again. And shall we give her another round of applause, a virtual applause? Thank you. Now I would like to invite all participants to switch on their camera so that we can take a group photograph and help our Zoom master Tarushi to capture all participants.
Okay, thank you, MC DTM Imali. So I'm going to take few photographs again for the second session. So I would like to invite all of you to switch on your cameras. So I'll be taking few photographs. So 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Okay, let me take some more photographs as well. 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Okay. I will take some more photographs of the people who have not turned on their cameras. Okay, I'm done from my end and over to you, MC.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tarushi. And now we will move on to the next segment. Before we move on to the next segment, I would like to inform all participants that the attendance link will be now available on the chat. To mark your attendance for the contest management session, please make sure that you mark your attendance when it is available on the chat now. Thank you. It's time for the panel discussion. The moderator for the panel discussion is a distinguished Toastmaster, HR professional, and a trainer. He joined Toastmasters in the year 2013 and became the 7th president of CNA Toastmasters Club. He has served in the District 82 as a club extension chair of Sri Lanka and assistant chief judge, finance director, and area director too. He was the immediate past division director of Division F of District 82. At present, he is the Deputy General Manager, Human Resources and Administration at Sri Lanka Citizens Cooperative Bank. He is the founder of Broadway Business Consultant firm as well. He holds a Master of Business Administration from Commonwealth Learning Institute and an associate member of Institute of Bankers of Sri Lanka. He mostly enjoys socializing, listening to music, and driving too. Please welcome our moderator for the panel discussion, distinguished Toastmaster, Ruwan Jayasuriya. DTM Ruwan, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shimali, for the lengthy introduction. And after a lovely session, inspiring session of DTM Sita about the contest management, I think we all are now eagerly waiting to see the contest happening. So contest season is always giving more opportunities, not only to the speakers, the contestants, but also to the contest management team to get an excellent leadership experience. So I would welcome the panelists for this panel discussion, DTM Ganga Fernando, the Program Director of District 82, and also distinguished Toastmaster Sita Kadarganathan, who is the Assistant Past District Chief Judge and also the resource person for today's session. So I would also like to invite the participants to send the either to raise your hand raise your hands, or maybe you can send the contest questions also in the chat box. As a start, Distinguished Toastmaster Ganga, thank you for your commitment to join from different places in the US for different sessions, and we have passed a very turbulent time. I would say, as Toastmasters, we had some online contests here, and then we had last year we had hybrid contests, and there have been some clubs who are meeting online. these are some online clubs as well. So this year, what is the district guideline about the contest format? Either it is whether it is hybrid or whether it is physical. What's the district's guidance about the contest format this year, DTM Ganga?
Yeah, thank you, Ruan, for the question. According to the rule book, there was a statement that the contest has to be physical beyond the club level. But later there was a board amendment that it can be on hybrid. So what we recommend is at the club level, we can have either online or in person. But when it's come to beyond the club level, we recommend the having physical contest would be better. But we have to refer to the Toastmaster International as last year, if they have again given the two options as online and hybrid, then we have to select one format.
So that means to say that we will be promoting the physical contest, but we'll be switching into hybrid contest also if there is a demand. Is that, am I right, DTM Ganga?
Yes, if they have not exclude the option of having in person completely, then the second option we have to select with the understanding of we have in person contest. Because last time also only 2 clubs opted. I think to 1 division, and there were only 2 contestants who were contesting from online for the hybrid mode.
Thank you so much, DTM Ganga. On that question, as an extension of that question, I would like to move into DTM Sita. Now, last year also we have seen some contestants inform the contest management team that they want to go on online. Sometimes it happened during the last few days, or maybe sometimes on the day itself. So would you recommend any mechanism to handle it without any disturbance this year? If by any chance, if we are to up to a hybrid contest, and what would you recommend? The mechanism.
Good question, DTM Rohan. So I also experienced that, because I know some chief judges stepped down from being a chief judge because they were informed at the very last minute. So please don't inconvenience the chief judge and the judges, because they are also planning to brief the particular judges. Sometimes they do it earlier than on that particular day. And also the logistics need to be set up, Ruan, especially when it comes to in-person and online. That is a hybrid format. Why? There has to be projector set up. The judges should be able to view the particular contestants and all those things. So make sure if you're planning to compete from a distance, that is online, you inform the contest chair and ask the contest chair also to inform the particular chief judge as soon as they get to know. That is something that should be told. Contest chairs, please check whether all your contestants will be present at the venue for the club contest. If not, check with them whether they are planning to compete from a distance, and then make sure that you arrange those projectors and all those things. In a table topic and evaluation contest one, what I did see was, if there is one particular contestant, it is okay to let them contest online. But if it is more than one contestant, it should not be allowed. Why? Because they have that unfair advantage of hearing the topic. And also at home, they are able to get more feedback on the particular contestant. They can hear the previous contestant. So always they were encouraged to go as speaker number 1. But for human international speech, it does not matter which place they are going to be in that particular contestant speaking order. But if they are evaluation or table topic, if it's more than one, I definitely do not encourage a hybrid contest.
Thank you, DTM Sita, for that introduction. And I think it's a very practical way of handling the such kind of a situation. There is a question in the chat. Before I understand the question, there is a raise hand by Toastmaster Thilini. Thilini, you can get a chance to ask the question. Whom do you want to?
Thank you very much, team. Hi. Very good morning. Not very good morning. Good morning, I guess. This question is for DTM Sita. DTM Sita, could you please again explain about these elected officers not being selected for the contest? That's new rule part, because it's not only me, several members couldn't understand that part. I got the request as well from my own clubs. Could you please explain that part again, the new rule?
Yes, Tilini, the new rule specifically, what I said was the candidates elected for district positions, that is, they call up for nominations, say in January, where I think DTM Mahinda will appoint the leadership nomination committee chair. And then we are expected now, for example, if I am an area director, I have no intention to apply, I'm just telling it out here. But if I intend to apply for next year, starting July 1st, for a division director post, it's an elected post. Some of you would have seen, this is at the district meeting where we have the elections for division directors and the trio. So if you are planning to apply for one of those elected posts where there is the elections that is being held, where say, for example, I and Ruan are applying for maybe a division F director post, and then I will not be eligible to be a particular contestant. So if I'm planning to apply for next year's division director post, I should not be contesting in this year's contest cycles. Similarly, now Ganga will obviously be applying for the district director post. I hope Ganga don't say no. So then Ganga will not be eligible. Even currently she is not eligible because she is PQD, so she's again a district leader. Now, for example, say if Ruan was not a district officer this year, Ruan, are you holding any district officer title this year? No. Okay, so Ruan is only a member this year. He has been a past division director. But say if Ruan plans to intend to apply for a division director or maybe a club growth director, and he is planning to send in his nomination, he will not be eligible to be a particular contestant. Why do we say that, Thirini? Is because say now if Ruan plans to apply for the club growth director, and then he's competing in the international speech contest. He comes and boasts about his leadership qualities. He talks about how much he has helped the community and all those. By looking at that, the audience who's going to be voting at the elections can get biased, right? Because of that, we do not encourage that. And it's vice versa as well. If we know that they're going to be the next year's club growth director, or they're going to apply for a division director, then we also might think, okay, that person is senior. As a result, we will give them some additional points and make them contestant number one. Similarly, if you are participating in an international speech contest, it can go up to next year, August. So by that time, you will automatically be a district leader. So then you will not be able to compete. That is one of the main reasons. So as a result, if you are planning to apply for any of these elected posts, like the division directors, like the trio posts, please do not intend to compete.
Okay, there's one small question, DTM Sita. Let's say members who are in extended groups current year, extended team groups, can they participate in the contest, or still they considered as the district officers?
No, they are not considered as district officers. If you take the district officers, it is only the district trio plus the top 7. I'm sorry, the top 7, the division directors and the area directors. For example, even the extended team, say Modita Atanagoda, who is currently the DCP chair, he can actually compete. Similarly, even our district chief judge, distinguished Toastmaster Vanasinghe, can compete, but we look at the ethics perspective, and they do not normally compete in such contests. But the extended team members, say for example, the club detention chairs team, if they want, there is nothing preventing them from competing, and they can actually compete.
Thank you very much, DTMC. It's very clear.
Thank you, Dhirani, for those questions. I think you can now understand every rule and every practice has come with a logic. So that's why DTM Sita was explaining. Now, before moving to Toastmaster Sabri, I would like to go to PQD DTM Ganga again. Now, there is a question. Now, DTM Sita mentioned that she's asking whether the district is coming up with a standard script for the contest. Now, there is a question in chat chat asking, should we use the full contest masters or contest chair script, or can we use a brief version as suitable? DTM Ganga, would you like to express your views on this?
Yes, thank you, Ruan. What we recommend is better to use the detailed version, the standard one, but there are certain unnecessary lines. So those things we can remove. What we can do is we can share the sample script, but we need to customize according to the requirement. So we can't go for a brief version. Sometimes there may be some important elements that we will miss out. So therefore, always I propose when we have the contest, we usually share the contest master script, and when I am the chief judge, I just ask it just to make sure that certain lines are particularly is there and that has not been omitted. Sometimes there is a mismatch will come one because we had all the contest online. So now we are going in person. So that time the video recording or those part may not required if it is an in-person contest. But if it is online or hybrid, then we have to say if there is a technological interruption, so this will be the procedure that we handle. So we need to adjust it.
Yeah, Ganga. I think that's why DTM Sita proposed that it send it to a senior Toastmaster, experienced Toastmaster, and get it verified at least to see whether the contestant master or contest chair has missed anything. There is an important question in the chat box. I would like to get that question for the answer from DTM Sita. The grace period of timing device failure, does it valid if the competitor finishes a speech? Maybe she has not taken the time well. I would like to rephrase the question in this manner. Now, let's say there was an timing device failure due to power failure in the middle of the contest. So does it apply for the entire contest timing or for the particular speaker? I think that is what this Toastmaster is trying to ask.
It is only for that particular speaker that the grace period will be applicable, because it's at the time when that particular speaker was on stage. As a result, usually it is only the additional 30 seconds is given to them, because they are not given a negative grace period where if they don't reach the time of 4 minutes 30 seconds, they are obviously going to be disqualified. So that means they are not prepared enough to have a speech up to 4 minutes 30 seconds. So it is not applicable if it's less than 4 minutes 30 seconds, but on top of the 7 minutes 30 seconds, they are given up to 8 minutes to complete their speech. So they are given an additional grace period of 30 seconds.
Right. Toastmaster Sabri, you have been raising hand.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Toastmaster One, DT Moran. And my question is regarding the winner's notification. When I was a chief judge in one contest, I received a winner's notification with only 2 names. So now in this case, if we didn't have one contestant, like let's say one contestant drop out from the contest, and then what should we do? Like, should we request from the CJ again to send the winner's notification, including the other names, or what is the process of doing it?
Yeah.
I think
Ruan, I will take that.
Right.
Yeah, Shabri, this would have been mentioned in the chief judge training. The chief judge is supposed to send not the first, second, third place, or the places which is come in the tally sheet. So that has to be sent the full recording. It is not the first, second winners notification. So if there are say that up to 5 positions, so that all will be recorded and sent when it is forwarded to the next level.
So, is it possible the chief judge to request from the previous CJ to send the winner's notification again if it is not the complete one? Sometimes because of
have to request, but our chief through the training. So, and these are certain sensitive points. So we'll encourage it to correct it at the first place itself. As a chief judge, when you are sending the notification, send it with all the details also, not only the positions, but the other informations as well.
And if I may add on to what DTM Ganga said, this was a question that came up, which I wrote to TMI when I was the assistant chief judge. sometimes say if there were 8 contestants, only 5 contestants receive ranking in the tally sheet. You are not supposed to write only the particular 5 contestants, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As a chief judge, you are expected to look at the tiebreakers ballot and accordingly rank the 6, 7, and 8. So if there was a particular contest which had 8 contestants and all contestants are eligible, regardless if they have got a vote from a voting judge, you are expected to look at the tiebreakers judge ballot and fill in all 8 names and send it to the next level contest chair.
Right. Thanks a lot, both of you. Thank you.
There is a question from past district director, District Toastmaster Sriyadi Salgado in the chat. I would like to throw this question to DTM Ganga. Would the district competition for humorous and evaluation be held before December or at the ovation? Would the district competition for humorous and evaluations be held before the December or at the ovation?
Yes, at the moment, Rohan, we have decided up to the division contest and dates also finalized. About this decision, we will inform it in the upcoming district council meeting. So that we will announce it.
Right.
We are waiting for the TI response.
Right, DTM Ganga. DTM Sudash has raised his hand. DTM Sudash, you can take the chance.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I'm just not going to ask a question here. I would need to stand. I'm requesting a chance to me to talk something else. Actually, this is to correct myself in front of all of you on behalf of the district. I felt that my comment of not having award, do these things for awards, is not right, because the district trio has mentioned that this has been corrected to only to have it on the club quality award, some parts to give some points. So by giving points for such work is fine, but not going as awards. That was my concern, to offer awards for everything. So I stand a chance here to correct myself and humbly request all the members who are here to make it correct. The district is finding it right to say that they have corrected some of those award schemes. So all thanks to district, and my humble apologies for making a indirect comment. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Sudash. Okay, there were some questions about judging. I would not take those questions at this moment because we have to give priority to the contest management. DTM Sita, may I ask you, now you mentioned that the props has to be demonstrated in advance to the contest chair by the contestants, and the contest chair has to brief it to the contestants also before when the contestant briefing is happening. What is a good time to the practical and the correct time to do the contestants briefing? How many days before the contest should the contest chair brief the contestants?
Usually, Ruwan, at a particular contest, they do the contestants briefing just before the start of the contest. Having gone online, we have had contestants briefing well in advance. Because why? Because most of the contestants were not familiar with the Zoom platforms and all such. But then again, if a particular contestant wants to use a particular prop and to demonstrate it, it's always good to reach out to the particular contest chair well in advance before the briefing. Now, say if the contest is supposed to start at 9 o'clock and if the briefing is happening at 7:30 in that particular morning, that might lead the contestant to have some issues where if the contest chair says, no, you can't set this up within that particular 1 minute silence, then as a result, the contestant is also now messed up with his speech. So as a result, it is always good for the contestant to reach out to those contest chairs well in advance. Usually what happens is the contest chair reaches out to each and every contestant, informing of the date of the contest, the venue, and all as such. So it is always good for the contest chair also to check with the particular contestant to see if they are planning to use any props. I don't think all contest chairs will be checking on that aspect. So it's good for the contestants to inform the contest chair in advance. And if possible, it might not be at the Center for Banking Studies. They can always have a Zoom meeting or a video call. I mean, we have so much of technology now where you can show what the prop is if you can't explain it in words, and show what you're going to do with it and how you're going to take it away. So those kind of things is always good to speak to the contest chair in advance, and I would recommend all the contestants to do that if you are going to have a very complicated prop. If you're going to just have a roast like Dhananjay Hettiarachi, of course, you just can come on the morning of the contest and show the roast. So that would be something easy for the contestants to do. But if you're having a complicated prop, like you're going to use a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to flash somebody's photo on screen, all those things, check with the contest chair well in advance before the contest.
As an extension of that question, DTM Sita, if someone is using a human prop, just briefly explain the scenario about that.
What prop did you say?
Human prop.
Human prop can be placed on stage. There is no nothing that stops you from placing a human prop, but that human prop cannot do any action, cannot talk, cannot do anything whatsoever. The speech and everything that comes out uttered are to be from that particular contestant only. But the human prop can be placed on stage or from in a corner seated somewhere. That is, it's actually, you can admit that, yeah, there's nothing restricting them from not having a human prop. But the human prop cannot make any noise, can't do any facial expressions, can't speak.
Thank you. Clear. Next question. Yeah, before go to then that next question in the chat, I would like to give a chance to DTM Shreyanti Salgadu.
Could I just add to that? Thank you, Rowan. Could I just add to that? It's also essential that we show the human props because it could be dangerous to the audience. Speaking of a very particular incident, if you want, I'll explain the incident. Because if the contest chair does not know it, can the contestant be disqualified if it is dangerous to the audience?
So that's the question part of it. If that is not demonstrated, can the contestant be disqualified? Who would like to take that question? I think Sita is the best.
Let me clarify a little bit more, Sita. The actual prop was a live snake. Okay, finally it was not brought in because I protested to the candidate who I knew personally. But this incident happened.
Yes, I think in my slide as I showed, you should not endanger the audience with snakes, with lions. Don't bring any of these on stage because you have enough and more innocent things to bring, I suppose, as a contestant. But having said that, because the thing is like people's mentality would completely change, right? If you're a judge, if you're a part of the audience, you'll have them gasping, you'll have them wide-eyed, you'll have certain sounds that you'll hear if you see a particular snake, especially on a stage. Luckily, I was not there. But having said that, like I said, if there is something that would endanger the audience, something like you have a fireball on screen and you try to throw it at someone, or a fire ring, something of that nature, it is definitely not allowed, not encouraged. Contest chairs, be very vigilant. Ask them what they're going to do with that particular contest prop. Because like I said, even this particular contest where I was a judge, this particular contestant just threw trophies and aiming at the second and third rows where the judges were. And some of those trophies did come and hit hard. Okay, it's not as dangerous as a snake. But still, for all, try to avoid all that. So if a contestant shows a particular prop, ask them what they're going to do with it. If they have the snake in a basket, if they're going to just let it loose and it's going to run about in Center for Banking Studies, we can't have the audience running all away. So make sure that you ask what they're going to do with the prop and make sure that it does not endanger the audience in any way. So that is something that is important for you to check as the contest chair.
Thank you, Sita. Next question, as I think since we have run out of time, I will take this as a final question. Since DTM Ganga also just witnessed the international speech contest at the convention, can you elaborate on the way the contest chair, or rather contest master, should introduce the speaker? And the member who has raised this question is also explained the situation. At the recent international speech contest, the speaker waited until the contest chair announced and say, you're welcome, and then start the speech. Timer should be in alert about this. So there are two parts in the question. How should the contest master or the contest chair introduce the speaker properly? And the second part of it, what is your advice for the timers? How we will be alert on this, and where the timer should actually start the timing? DTM Ganga.
Thank you, everyone. So what we expect contest chair to introduce is we tell the name, title, name. So that's the proper way to introduce. So that was the way it was introduced during this time as well. Then I also observed it. Then I was also thinking what time that timer would have started timing. Because once the contest chair was our the vice president-elect, so when she introduced, then the contestant who came on the stage, not the first few, after that, so they said, thank you. And then contest chair said, you're welcome. Then they started. So that must be the question being raised. So rule book says you start timing when the contestant utter the first word or show the gestures. So with that, we start the timing. And this time I feel it would have been because of the cultural thing. And maybe the other contestants were following the previous contest. And I saw that 2 or 3 occasions it happens. But that's not the usual case. Ideally, we expect contestant to start directly.
Right. Thank you, DTM Ganga. And I think now we can conclude the Q&A session. And it is a kind of an extension session to DTM Sita's presentation about contest management. Thank you, DTM Ganga and DTM Sita, for elaborating on some points where we need to give clear guidance, because all these guidance would help the contest management teams in the contest season to do their best and achieve the excellence. And also, contest season is also take it as a demonstration for the members who would like to take those opportunities in future. And when they see that the correct things are happening at the contest, it is done at a professional level. So they will also take these learnings, and when they get a chance to do or take those opportunities, they will do in turn achieve the excellence. And I would like to thank the TLI team also for the opportunity for me to be the moderator for this panel discussion with this experienced Toastmasters to give some knowledge, share some knowledge with the members. With that, I'll hand over the controls back to the MC, Toastmaster Mali D. Silva.
Thank you, DTM Ruan Jayasuriya, for conducting a very lively session. I would like to appreciate both our panelists, DTM Sita Kadirgamanathan and DTM Ganga Fernando, for devoting their valuable time in clearing up all doubts of the participants, ensuring District 82 will have quality contests in the near future. And a special thank goes to our DTM Ganga. It's late night, I think early morning over there, but she's still up and being with us. Thank you so much, DTM Ganga, for that. Now it's time to introduce our Assistant TLI Chair of District 82. He's a Toastmaster since 2018 and is a member of AATSL Toastmasters Club. He is also the immediate past area director of Division E, Area 2. He's a very important and sought out person as he gives expert advice on tax consultation. He manages his own tax consultancy firm named EN Associates. I invite him now to deliver the vote of thanks. Toastmaster Sellamuthu Ilangavan, over to you.
Thank you, MC. Good morning, Toastmasters. On this colorful Sunday morning, we had 2 fruitful sessions. One was how to conduct a new member orientations, and other one was how to manage a successful contest. I am honored and lucky to have got this opportunity to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of Program Quality Directors team. First of all, I would like to thank the resource panels for these sessions. Distinguished Toastmaster Sudas Liyanage and Distinguished Toastmaster Sita Kadrikamanathan for accepting our invitations and devoting your valuable time. We are really happy to have you both as our resource panel. Especially, I would like to express our deep sense of gratitude to our Q&A sessions moderators, DTM Modita Atanagoda and DTM Ruwan Jayasuriya. And I would like to thank our panelists of both sessions for having taken your time out to be with us on the Sunday morning. It's a great encouragement to add value to these sessions. Today, almost 200 members are participated from different divisions and made this event great success. We believe through these informative sessions, you all got a chance to boost your knowledge. Thank you, dear participants, who took their time out to be a part of us. Also, I would like to thank all the distinguished invitees and other guests to be with us today. A special thanks goes to District PQD PR team Toastmaster Kitnuka and Toastmaster Lilani for all the support and guidance given for the success of this event in public relations. Also, important to recognize our Zoom master, Toastmaster Tarushi. Tarushi, thank you very much for your support. Further, a big thanks goes to our program called Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Ganga Fernando. Madam, your guidance and unsisting support help us immensely to make these sessions reality and great success. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our beautiful MC, Distinguished Toastmaster Imali D. Silva and TLA Chair Chandana Puncheva. Teamwork makes dream work. Finally, I would like to extend my sincere appreciations to the organizing team of this Out to Conduct and new member orientations and contest management sessions. I, once again, thank you all the participants to make this program a success. Thank you all. Have a good day. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Selamuthi Langavan, for that kind words for all of us. Toastmasters, now we have come to the end of the session. Hope all of you have marked your attendance. You all have gained new knowledge and insights on new member orientation and contest management. We encourage you to apply what you have learned here today to be used at the upcoming contest season. Have an enjoyable Sunday and a great week ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Imali.
Thank you, Madam.
So I will leave now.
Okay. Bye.